Hi. Ooh, yeah. Greetings. It's Wednesday. Welcome to another episode of Toy Talk with me and my co-pilot Skidmark. Tonight I'm going to be having a very interesting conversation with a guy that I've known for a while. I respect him, I like him, we get along. He's funny. I think he's real funny. And we have three things in common. One, we both love Conan the Destroyer. Two, we both think that the Snyder Cut of Justice League is freaking awesome and should have been longer. And three, we both went bald because of kids. And this guy's been around in the toy industry for a long time. A lot of people don't realize how much this dude has contributed to toys in numerous scales, not just the 1/12 scale, but he moved on and started his own company. I'm sure a lot of you know this guy, and I'm going to bring him in 2 seconds. But first, since I'm bringing it back, Darkest Cloister is first. Who's this Bobby Vala? I'm sure you know. If you don't, you will. And yeah, so here he is. Hello.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Man, those three things, holy shit. I mean, we'll lose viewers just on those three things alone.
Oh, that's fine. I don't care. You guys were talking about the Snyder Cut the other day, and I'm like, you tell him, Bobby. I want it to be 6 hours. Give me more.
I tell you what, it's so hard being a Snyder fan. Like,
no,
so me, Ryan, Tony, Michael, we're all in this chat together.
Yeah.
And it's hard. Like, sometimes I almost feel like not ashamed, but I'm just like, I love the Snyder Cut. I'm not even gonna hide it. But like Michael and Tony just cannot stand him. And sometimes they'll talk about like movies and directors, and I'm like, ooh, I kind of like that movie and I like that director. It's just like, maybe I won't bring that one up. But Snyder, and it's like Snyder and Destroyer. Listen, I'm not gonna hide those things, man.
Oh yeah, 100%. I like Zack Snyder's work. I do. I wish that Warner Brothers hadn't really. Warner Brothers are notorious for meddling. They meddle in everything.
Yep.
And I wish they didn't meddle in his whole Snyderverse of the DC characters. Gal Gadot is a fantastic Wonder Woman. Everybody says the third act of that movie is like the weakest part, but that's also notoriously what Warner Brothers meddled with the most. And Patty Jenkins is on record as saying that. I mean, look what they did to David Ayer in Suicide Squad. And people say what they want about Jared Leto's Joker, but you don't go from making like Training Day and Fury to this like MTV music video kind of movie. Like they took his movie and destroyed it.
That's one of the directors that Michael and Tony don't like, because they don't like Fury. Now they don't like Fury because they feel it's not accurate to the period. I love that movie. I love Fury.
Me too.
I don't watch it wanting a 100% accurate World War II movie. I wanted to be entertained, and I like that movie for that. but I love David Ayer's work. And
Yeah.
he said recently that, which I don't believe, why is his name escaping me? Who runs DC now? Guardians director.
Yeah.
Why am I blanking on his name?
It's doing it to me too. he's all white haired. He's got a brother.
Yeah,
that guy.
Anyway, James Gunn.
James Gunn.
Ayer said that Gunn promised him that his cut would come out.
Yes.
I don't know if I believe that, but listen, it should have come out already. Like, it's almost like if you do it in a year or two, it's almost too late. I mean, I still want to see it because I believe there is something there. It's just unfortunate that so many people love the Snyder cut, and it proved Warner Brothers wrong. And it's like, it was too late to go back. It's like, you guys messed that up so bad. And it took this movement, whether it was manufactured falsely behind the scenes or legitimately fan, it still got done.
Yep.
Whatever you need to do to get the job done, it got done.
And we did a noir version in all black and white.
Yeah. So it's like, they were probably like, oh man, what do we do now? But now it's like, you got James Gunn. And I'll tell you what, James Gunn is going to screw up DC worse than Warner Brothers screwed up DC.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I know that's probably blasphemy for some people, but it's like, listen, I love Guardians 1, but then 2 and 3 just kind of crap the bed, man.
And just because you can do talking raccoons and walking trees doesn't mean you can do Superman. They're completely separate universes.
Exactly.
Totally different. And like, now all the stuff that they're saying about this new Superman movie, whatever it's called, Superman Legacy, and they're already throwing everybody into it. Here's Green Lantern. Here's the Thanagarians. Here's this. Here's that. It's like, dude, just do a Superman movie.
Yeah. What happened?
Give me Henry Cavill back. Yeah. Stop.
What happened to just building Superman?
Right.
Man of Steel did that fantastic.
Yeah.
You know.
And I know people want to say whatever they want to say about Ben Affleck as Batman. I love him as Batman, and that warehouse fight scene is straight out of the Arkham games. It's my favorite, like 3 minutes of Batman on film.
I was mixed about Ben Affleck. While he did a fantastic job, at the end of the day, he was great.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I didn't like that Snyder did was they almost like they gave him superpowers. Like, yes, that fight scene is fantastic, but there are some things that go on in that movie that make Batman feel like he almost has superpowers in a way.
There are some parts. Like when he grabs Superman by the chin and just like heaves him like that. Some of that is a little wacky.
I'm just like, okay. I mean, still great job. I mean, I think that the castings are just fantastic lately. And it's like, I know I get a lot of flack for Leto's Joker, but I always say the 3 minutes of Leto's Joker at the end of Justice League is probably, I mean, nothing's going to top Heath Ledger, but right behind him is that Joker, because that Joker is, even in 3 minutes, I was able to tell exactly what he could have brought to that character. And it was
looking like that too.
Exactly. And I'm just like, man, I want more of that. I want so much more of that. It was so good. A 3 minute scene.
Yeah.
So
and he's almost doing like this weird, like a bromance flirty thing with him. And then he's talking shit about Robin and, send a boy to do a man's job. And he keeps calling him Bruce. And but there's so many layers to that couple of minutes.
It's the few lines alone where he says, like a father, like a mother, like an adopted son. Like, he says it 3 different ways. And you're like, wow, he changed his character to deliver 3 different parts of that line to match what he was trying to say. And I'm like, that guy's amazing. Like, absolutely amazing. And I wish more people would appreciate that.
Even in Suicide Squad, I get into it with a lot of people all the time, and they're like, oh God, Jared Leto's Joker sucks. And I'm like, if you see through the exterior of what they made him look like, aesthetically, his Joker, like the way he acts and the way that he moves, and like when he gets up on that guard and he like kind of sniffs him, and I'm like, man, that's the Joker. Like, he's just he's like a weird hyena in a way, and that's kind of how he should be.
He's unhinged, and Yes, and I think that too many people got caught up in his look. Now, granted, I wasn't a huge fan. I didn't like all the tattoos on the face. I didn't like the bright green hair, but there were definitely things about him that I liked. But yeah, if you, like you said, if you can get past the way he looked, and just look at the way he delivers some of that performance, you get it.
Yeah,
you get it.
Yeah, agreed. We have a super chat right off the bat. It was actually there before we started, and it's a question for you. So I want to thank Chris from Cutthroat Comics for the $15 super chat. That's very kind of you, Chris. And he says, Bobby, when will we see new female figures for Action Force? I love the Gemini figure and the colors of her military gear. Thanks for a great 6-inch military figure line.
You're very welcome, man. I'm glad you appreciate it. I was working on another iteration of one of the female characters. So there's going to be another version of a fan favorite coming. But I have others planned, and I'm in the process of doing my whole line plan for 2024, because now it's like I have 3 different factories working on, all this product. And then it's like the White Dragon stuff's coming out in beginning of 2024. The Vanguard's coming out in the summer. Series 5's coming out in the summer. And then I'm trying to plan for what Series 6 is, what my convention exclusives are. We also have our 100th item coming, because we figured out that we're almost at 100 Action Force items since it all started, which is crazy.
That's absurd. Yeah.
So I'm trying to plan what that awesome figure is going to be. It might be a con exclusive, but available on Valaverse.com as well. Excuse me. And then on top of that, I want to get, some more female characters in there. So, this week I'm kind of ironing out what those are going to be.
It's funny because I remember you were supposed to go out of business after Series 1.
I was.
And then after Series 2.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I mean, that what's that saying about egg on your face? Because there's a lot of those guys on that forum that doesn't exist anymore that have some egg on their face that, it would be nice if they came forward and admitted they were wrong. They never will. But it'd be nice if they did.
No.
Because there was a whole lot of them that were wrong, and they kept being wrong. It was like, he's not going to get past Series 1. Okay, well, that was false. He's never going to, Series 3 is never going to come out. Series 3 came out. And it's funny, Series 2, Series 3, Series 4, all those STSs, they all came out without having to do crowdfund pre-orders. Like, yeah, I did slight pre-orders, but I'd already know my quantities and I already paid for the production run.
Yeah.
So I find it funny that they just need something new. They're just jumping from one thing to the other. Well, he's not going to get to this. He's not going to get to the vehicle. Okay, well, I paid for the vehicle. I didn't need a crowdfund. And you know what? It's under $200. What's your next thing? We don't know because your forum is gone because you guys were a bunch of losers. I just find it funny. I mean, at the end of the day, it's nice that, I have the title and I won because they didn't. Like, I went up against all them and they all lost.
Yeah.
Because they got taken down. Channels are gone. People are going to get, a ruined Christmas. They're going to have to get lawyers, this and that. So it's going to be really funny. It's like, guys, leave me alone. You came after me. You find out the hard way. Like, that's just what it comes down to. It's like, you're not going to win. I got dudes so obsessed with me that their daily life is posts about me. That's obsessed, dude. That's obsessed. You have mental issues. You're going after a guy who doesn't give a shit about you. And it's just like, it's sad. It's really sad that you resort to, like, your daily life is trying to, like, talk shit about me. It's like, where's that getting you? Is that making you any money?
Yeah.
Is that making you better in life? Okay, fine. It's giving you entertainment, but what else? Like, entertainment's fine, but it's like, dude, every day, dude. And there's like so many of these guys that on a daily basis are obsessed with me.
Yeah.
And it's so sad. It's so sad. You guys are losers because some of them are definitely watching now. So thank you for giving Chad views to come and get mad. Baby said this. Yeah. Where are you guys going now? You got Reddit, you got, that whatever those shitty Facebook G.I. Joe groups are. You got those now because that's probably where you guys hang out now. All you two-faced losers, over there. But it's all right, man. It's all right. I got a successful company. I moved into a giant office and I ain't going nowhere. So keep trying to stop me and you're going to fail.
No, sir. You're out of business and you just don't know it.
Yeah, I'm out of business. Yeah, exactly.
But and then Pendragon says, but Bobby, keyboard warriors are never wrong.
I know, right? Such losers. They're such losers. It's funny. They're
I don't understand it. I've never understood it. It's it's no shock. I mean, I'm friends with all you guys, but you guys aren't. You're not what people say, and I never understood it. Even before all of us became friends, I would see it and I'd be like, why are you guys wasting your energy on just a guy who makes toys? Like, yeah, I never got it, but
I don't get it either. It's like, and they're celebrating like, yeah, we got 2,000 pages. Oh, the 10 losers that have nothing better to do in life. You were celebrating 2,000 pages.
Yeah.
And then what happened? Your 2,000 pages are gone now. So all that hard work you guys did is all gone and it means nothing now. While everything I did means something. So who won there?
And that's that whole thing. I had played a clip when I had Ninja on, and maybe I'll play it here in a second just to kind of, add a little more weight to it. But it's that whole thing about, hypnosis and echo chamber. And it's unfortunate that social media, it gives you access to everything, knowledge and like-minded people and things like that. But with the like-minded people comes the echo chamber of negativity. But you know what? I'm going to play it super quick. So this is Wayne Knight talking about when they filmed Jurassic Park and he met Michael Crichton, and they had a discussion about the emergence of the internet. And this kind of coincides with what you're saying about thousands of pages on his tank and things like that. Or, God forbid, when you point out that some company has gummy weapons and the back pegs can't fit in the peg holes because they're too gummy. And then you're a hater, right? Because you don't like toys. And then you get told you don't even collect anything anyway. Just dumb shit. So let me play this real quick. Here we go.
I only started
I had lunch one day with Michael Crichton and got to speak to him at length about the internet and the future. And his thought, I said, what do you think of the ubiquitousness of the internet? And he says, I don't like it. And I said, why? He said, because you get great thought from rumination. That Einstein sat on a porch and thought about things. He didn't seek out the thoughts of everyone else, a consensus. That the internet is about consensus. It's not about individualized thought.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's spot on.
Right. It's really powerful. The way that he says it, talking about Einstein and the internet's about consensus. It's not about individual thought. And, God forbid you just show up somewhere in one of these toy groups, which a lot of them are not very friendly places. Yeah. And you just share an opinion like, hey, I like the Star Brigade armor bot, or I don't like this figure's head sculpt, and that's it. Like you're done, Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, it's interesting how you have an opinion and you get ganged up on. It's like, listen, I have an opinion and I have no problem sharing my love for Snyder in this group of great-minded individuals in my chat, in our chat. And it's just like, why is it a problem? It's okay. Listen, you don't like me, you don't like my line, that's fine. I'm not going to stop doing the line. I'm not going to change for you. It's just sad. I mean, if we can go back and what did Rhodey say? Can we just go back and Thanos, little Thanos,
baby Thanos?
Listen, they're I'm not saying Mark Zuckerberg, but I'm saying Mark Zuckerberg. It's listen, social media just ruined people. People are just idiots now, and they're just nasty individuals. It's social media was meant to bring people together, and it did.
Right.
But it also made people really mean.
Yes.
Really mean. And it also made people think that everything they say matters. Listen, not everything I say matters. I can admit that. But it's like people feel that, no, I said it. It matters. It matters. And you have to.
I need you to validate that I like Skidmark. Validate it right now.
Yeah.
And if you don't, stupid.
It's so unfortunate. And it's like, sometimes I go back and I think like, some of the people that I was friends with when I started this company in this line that I'm not friends with anymore. Yeah. But I'm not friends with them from my choice. Like I've had a bunch of people turn their back on me because of like allegiances. And it's like, why can't like you like, are your friends going to be mad at you because you're friends with me? Well, if that's the case, then they're not real friends. They're not real friends. Like, listen, man, some of my friends are friends with people I don't like. I don't care. I'm never going to say to that person, you cannot be friends with that person.
And I think that's the difference between people who they think critically on an individual level and understand that like I can have my opinions and they're just my opinions. And I don't care what your opinions are. That's cool. Because that's thinking critically, as an individual. But then there's the people who can't do that. And they need that consensus. They need the group think. They need the echo chamber. They need that validation. Like, I need you to validate the fact that, like, all I will buy is Marvel Legends and nothing else but Marvel Legends. And if you say something bad about the Engine of Vengeance, I will disown you. And it's just dumb. Like Giant Man. Okay, Giant Man funded. Cool. I'm glad for the people who got it. Sure. Did I care for it? Fuck no. But does that make me a hater? Do I think that you shouldn't have gotten it? No. Because it's your money, man. Vote with your wallet. I don't care what you get. But when we don't buy it, we suck.
Right? I know. Yeah. I know.
Or then there's those people, speaking of the whole echo chamber, and this is why I don't like crowdfunds. Guys, if you don't buy it, we're not going to get those unlocks. If you don't fund it, we're not going to get this. You guys need to go fund it. It's like, don't drag me into your whole lemming kind of thought process. I'm not jumping off that cliff with you, man. Like,
the people that are like, you need to back this so I can get it.
Yep.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. Everybody needs to go back 5. Yeah. And then once everything unlocks, you can just downgrade it back to 1.
It's like, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that I was responsible for your happiness.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go find other collectors who have stuff that I want. And we're going to have a little monetary exchange. I'm going to get my dolly. They're going to get their money and we're going to be good. And that's, that's fine.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you. I don't really know the answer to this. His Tank shut that down, correct?
They did. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's the same guy who runs it. I mean, years ago, he invited me to his show in New Jersey and I had a great time and a great turnout. But again, because of allegiances, I don't, he's never reached out to me ever again, which ain't going to stop me from doing what I get to do on a daily basis. Yep. But, I wanted to reach out to him like a few years ago because there was this one dummy who was on there and I think he did a video, and he's an angry guy and typical stupid internet troll. And in his rant, he said that I beat my wife and kids.
What the?
And I was like, dude, like, that's where you're going to take it? Now, this is where the internet is great because people ended up like ganging up on him, like gang up on him and like.
I mean, as well, you should people's spouses and kids.
Yeah. Then he put out some half-ass apology, like didn't apologize to me. He apologized if he offended other people, but didn't apologize to me.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, so at that I was going to be like, hey man, you got these guys claiming I beat my wife and kids. But I was like, you know what? That dude's life sucks. That dude's life is so bad. I know I don't beat my wife and kids. People that know me know I don't beat my wife and kids. If that dude, like, if that, makes him happy. All right, dude, man, your life sucks anyway. I know how much your life sucks.
Yeah.
So but it's like stuff like that. And then I think, after some events that happened recently, I think some idiot drew attention to the His Tank forum, and now there's, some legal things going on behind the scenes, but I think he, as big of an idiot as he is, wanted to celebrate the fact that, yeah, me and my boys, we kept it going. Not anymore. And it's like, you're not going to be keeping a lot going. Just wait and see. You're going to have a really bad Christmas, dude.
Wait one. Wait one. Here it comes. Yeah, and then Jesse from JLS Comics. I just have to say real quick, there's like almost 150 people here. I see all of you. Thank you all for being here with me and this guy right here. I'm everything that's a question for Bobby, I am starring it. So understand, like we're going to get to him. I'm starring him as best as I can. I see the super chats too. I'm going to get to him here in a second. And then Impossible Pie said, fund it so I can get my car, said Boog. Matt Rubin, his tank looks active. We're not talking about his tank in general. We're talking about the one thread in the forums that was nothing about bashing Valaverse. That's all it was.
Yeah, it started out as like an announcement of, I created this 6-inch military line.
Yep.
And then little by little, it just came in this toxic cesspool. But yeah, then the guy, whoever runs it now, came in and was like, hey guys, I deleted all the pages. If you guys can't act like civilized human beings, then we're just gonna get rid of it. And he said he started like I think he said something like he started like removing people were getting banned, this and that. And then from what I heard, there was all this infighting. They all started blaming each other, like who got it taken down and blah blah blah. And then it got so toxic because they were going at each other that they just took the thread down. It was so funny. So it's like they were their own demise.
Yeah, and that's the thing with wacko people is they'll always eat their own. But even Chad from Pendragon said his tank also had issue, right, in quotes, with Easy Kill 9 and how it's just like an echo chamber for the Hasbros. Well,
yeah.
Let me go to some questions for you.
Sure.
Not Top Goon says, hey, I have a question for Bobby. So I'm moving the first week of January. I heard about the recent delay for Wave 4. When it does arrive, would it be better for me to have them sent to my new place?
Depends when you're moving in January.
First week?
Yeah, I mean, they're probably going to get here. The new date for the shipment to arrive in Boston is January 4th. So it's usually like 3 to 5 days after that I get it, and then we'll have them shipped out.
New place.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of, you gotta use your best judgment with that one. I mean, I'm gonna be making announcements maybe this week about Series 4 and when the pre-orders are gonna go for Series 4, because I'm gonna do some not pre-orders but advanced sales. Like you'll be able to buy it now and then it's ship out in a couple of weeks. So that'll probably be coming this week or next week.
Not Top Goon. Plus, when you forward your mail with the post office, they generally you can set it for 30, 45 days, whatever. So either way.
Yep.
Cool. Yep. And then Big Bacon. Is it just me? And I put this in here for a reason, and Ryan kind of replied to him on this, but you're here. So is it just me, or does anyone think Gina Carano would look amazing as part of Action Force?
All right. My attorney would probably say, no, don't talk about it, but I'll talk about it anyway. Who cares? When do I ever hold back? So we were talking with Gina a while ago. We were on a 3-way chat. I actually have a screenshot of her and me and the producer on our movie, and all of us were talking. I was like, wow, I'm talking to Gina Carano. This is awesome.
So rad.
And
she's like so laid back.
She's super laid back. She was so cool, very down to earth person. You didn't feel like you were talking to like this celebrity, and very candid. And, I was like, this is great. And like, we were talking to her about the possibility of having her in the movie. Mm-hmm. And then I said, hey, look, the movie's some ways out. We'd love to get you in the line as a character. Would you be opposed to that? And she's like, no, not at all. Let's start talking. I'm like, great. I immediately started like designing her figure, and I came up with this amazing figure for her. And then she got really difficult. And, it's like, I think she just likes to kind of do her own thing. Like, if you notice, she doesn't do a lot of projects. Like,
right.
She did like one thing since, leaving Mandalorian. So I think she just kind of like flies by the seat of her pants, and she doesn't really getting tied down to things and just wants to do her own thing. And I was kind of mad about it because I was like, you know, we had this great thing planned, and now all of a sudden she's like kind of backtracking, and we sent the contract over, and you know, then it was just hard to get in touch with her, and you know, it was unfortunate. You know, it's, hey, listen, man, she's gonna do her thing, I'm gonna do my thing, but it's like it would have been great, to have her in the line.
Sure.
You know, so that's a bummer, but yeah, I mean, listen, send messages to her, tell her she should be a part of Action Force. Maybe she'll call us again.
There you go. Yep. You heard it, people.
Do it respectfully, you know.
And she'll always respond to people on Twitter. Even though I don't have a Twitter because no.
Yeah, I don't know what I need. Like, listen, I have Facebook and Instagram. I don't even know what I need both of them for. It's like, well, what can you do on one that you can't do on the other? And then it's like Twitter. It's like, wait a second, what's that for now? You know, and then it's like TikTok. Wait a second, I got a YouTube channel. Like, too many. And it's funny. Me and my buddy Jordan, we were on our way to the show we did a couple weekends ago, and I was like, man, MySpace was awesome.
Yep.
I was like, I loved MySpace.
Yep.
And I was like, MySpace was so cool. I wish MySpace survived. And then we pulled up a YouTube video and we were looking at the demise of MySpace and why it failed. And I was like, I didn't go to college right after high school. I went to art school. So I couldn't be on Facebook because I didn't have a college email. So I was like, I don't even want to be in part of that elite group of college kids in this stupid Facebook. I got MySpace. I got my top 8 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And, you
put
know,
a song on there, change your background. Yeah.
And then it was like, you know, Facebook went out, and I'm just like, wait a second, but now we have all these other things. Why couldn't MySpace come back?
Yeah. I would go back to MySpace.
I would totally go back to MySpace. I'd have Tom as like, you know, my up there, my first spot.
So one follow-on question from me, but would you fight her?
Hell no.
I wouldn't fight her either.
No way, dude.
I would not fight her.
No way. I mean,
here's another question. And I had put the Vanguard in my, you know, like 4 notes of what I wanted to talk about. But JC's asking, next vehicle, Little Bird helicopter.
So I have 2 vehicles I'm working on right now. One is a flying vehicle. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
All right, cool. Well, at least you answered it. So Vanguard, how's that going?
Awesome. My my EP sample. So the EP samples are, so you know, I got this blue guy.
Yep.
You know, I've shown this model. This is, you know, the first test shot. So this is actually molded plastic. You know, it's like I was able to pay for the tooling, you know, without having to ask you guys for you know, a dime.
That's weird.
You know, but you know, bad for me that I bash Hasbro for charging $300 for something that's smaller than this.
But anyway, you know, they need your support though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the EP sample is the next sample, and it's all like production deco. So it'll be the exact paint and molded colors. We actually put, I've talked about Yiksang texture books. I put a bunch of texture in there. I put texture on all the seats inside. I gave it a leather texture. The dashboard, excuse me, the dashboard has a carbon fiber texture on it. All these textures really make it feel premium and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to getting that EP sample. It'll come in like the packaging that we have planned for it and stuff. So those will be like the first production samples, which is cool that I'll have, you know, kind of a production sample before some people that had, you know, Kickstarters well before me and can't get their test shot sample yet. So yeah, I don't know, you know.
Weird.
Maybe it helps to just do it yourself, you know, and not rely on people. Then you can just do it, you know. I don't know.
What do you know, man? You're going out of business anyway.
I know.
I don't know anything because I don't collect anything, and I'm just a hater.
I know.
Just Jeff sends a $5 super chat. Thank you, Jeff. Jeff actually came through Albuquerque, and he and I went toy hunting together, and I picked up Mask issue #1.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Nice.
He says, Chad, enjoy a Slurpee. Thank you very much, sir. And he says, Bobby, Rebel Moon figures.
I mean, I would love to. I think I'm a little late on it because I wouldn't be surprised if McFarlane's already all over it. You know, I think you got to watch McFarlane. He is on top of everything, and he will scoop up every single license there is. You know, it's like
when Hasbro's like, we can't do 1/12 scale vehicles. He's like, oh, Batmo Beast. Bam!
Right.
There you go.
Batwing. Here you go.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Yeah. So it's like, you know, I think it'll be awesome. The movie's gonna be awesome. I would love to do the figures. But But I've got my eye on some other properties. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think I'm a bit late on Rebel Moon at this point.
The cool thing about Rebel Moon, to me, aside from the fact that you and I were just like gushing on Snyder, is that this was his pitch for a Star Wars movie, and they told him pound sand, and he's like, "Watch this."
Yeah, and now it's like
Zack Snyder.
I'll create my own universe where what is it? Is it Netflix that's doing it?
Yep.
Yeah,
and
Netflix.
You can see the one that was supposed to be like a Jedi. Like you can pick her out. Yeah.
And Netflix is gonna be like, do whatever you want. He's not gonna have a Warner Brothers gonna be like, change this, change that. Oh, make it more like Deadpool kind of thing. No. Watch, he's gonna get the freedom to do what
and he's not gonna have that Lucasfilm story group like, oh, well, you need to put a dinosaur in it, and put a chick in it and make her gay. They're not gonna, you know what I mean? Like nobody's gonna tell him to do that.
Yeah.
So very cool. Thank you, Just Jeff. I appreciate it. And then Jim Largo, thank you very much. Sends a $5 super chat and says, Valaverse continues to bring the action. We want more lore to explore. Any new news on the mission files continuing?
Yeah, the comics. Listen, I know you guys want the comics, which is awesome because it shows that you guys really care about, the story and the characters.
Yes.
I've been so swamped with the toy line that I had to put the comics on the back burner. I was trying to find a publisher to pick it up, but comics it's such a tough business right now. It's definitely dying. It's hard for, people publishers to put out books that sell a lot, but then it's weird because then you got some of these guys doing Kickstarter comics and they're selling like $1 million worth of comics. So I don't understand it. Excuse me. So, I get it. Some, a lot of publishers that came back and they're like, it's just an unknown brand right now. And it's like, I get it. It's unknown to them. It's very known in the toy world, but it's still a new brand. So it's, taking the risk to go through and, comics are very expensive to produce, but I'm still holding out hope that I can find an outlet for the comics to keep that going. Also, it's like, I need more time. I need more bandwidth. I need to hire some more people to be able to clear some stuff off my plate so that I can, address the comics a bit more.
I like this comment right here. Joey Cannoli, right? It's my kind of guy. Says Vala's the type of guy who brings out the best in good people and the worst in shit people.
That couldn't be a more accurate statement. Not the worst.
I went back to the regular chat and it was the first thing I saw.
Joey, that is a great line. You should definitely make Valaverse shirts and say that. Joey
Cannoli. Joey Bag of Donuts. And then JLS says Gina Carano, codename Dune.
We had a different code name for her.
I bet you did. I'm just trying to flip back and forth. You know what? There's a question in the regular chat. You were just talking about the comics, which leads into media, right? 6 degrees of separation. Hammertron Action Figures is asking, how can we be extras in the Action Force movie? But I wanted to ask you, how's the movie coming?
So the movie, everything took, a backseat because of the strike.
Right.
We had the strike, everything shut down.
Yeah.
So now that the strike is over, we're starting to ramp up those conversations again. Right. So
the writer's strike.
The writers and the actors strike, because when there was the actor strike, you couldn't even talk to them. You couldn't throw a script their way. You could not even talk to them.
Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like we were having conversations with some people that you were allowed to have conversations with, but now that it's all fair game, now we can go and actually have the conversations with the talent again. So hopefully things are going to start, ramping up again. We'll see. It'll be slow towards the end of the year, now that we're getting towards the end of the year, but hopefully things will start picking back up. Because I know that a lot of these studios are starved for content. There's not a lot of content coming out, especially with the strike and everything. So they need new content. Also, they're finding that the legacy content isn't doing well for them. So they're looking at new, fresh content. And I think that's where that's really going to help us.
Oh, wait, here's a.
Yeah, I'll get on that.
You want to go into space?
Nope.
I never wanted a Defiant. Obviously it's one of the big three. I never really wanted it. And then Scuba Pete offered me one of his, and I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And I did it. I've got a Defiant, and it's impressive, but
it is.
It's just kind of one of those things. Like it was at the bottom of my 82 to 94 list.
Yeah,
it wasn't really on the list, but it existed. And then but it's Pete too, because it's Pete. I got to be like, because I love Pete. Hey, Pendragon, if you see questions for Bobby, please star them because I'm trying to keep up with the chat as much as I can. Andrew, $10 super chat. Thank you, Andrew. Very much.
Andrew. Guys, Andrew works here. He helps do fulfillment when we have the big orders go out.
Well, thank you, Andrew, for being a hard worker. Andrew says, and I loved this comment. I would have put this up no matter, but thank you for the super chat. Says, I can't wait until I have my life so lined up and perfect that all I have to get worried about is toy stuff at an age that's more than 1 digit. Yeah. And that's, when I came back into toys as an adult collector, once I stopped deploying so much and my military career kind of wasn't winding down yet, but it settled.
Mm-hmm.
And I got back into toys, and I didn't realize that toy people freaking bickered so much.
I know.
Right. And I was like, man, I thought this was reserved for like Star Wars fans and people like that. No, I guess it's everybody.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess it comes with territory. I mean,
it sucks.
I wonder if if there are comic book Facebook groups out there where people are as toxic as they are in toy groups. Like, I wonder, I'm sure it's just everywhere.
I wouldn't be surprised, because they made Robin bisexual, and I'm sure somewhere, like in some corner of some comic book Facebook group, people are fighting about why he should be and why he shouldn't be, and they did the same with Superboy, and people out there are like, actually, Squirrel Girl is the most powerful superhero ever. Thank you, fighting it out. Big Bacon says, I need a Bobby Vala head. When will we get a Vala self-insert?
Nope, I won't do it.
But you showed that custom Grimace figure.
I did. It's a great figure.
That was a good figure. And as soon as you showed it, and then I messaged you about tonight, I was like, hey, Mr. Grimace. That's a great call sign for you, Grimace.
Grimace.
I like
Amazing.
it. Grimace is good.
I actually remind me to share a really funny meme that I saw about Grimace. It's not appropriate to show on the stream right now, but I got to show it to you because it's hilarious.
Love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll remind you.
Yeah. But no, I won't put me in the line. No way.
Silly Poll plays. When will Bobby make a 118 square ring action force?
Square ring.
I don't know. Maybe scale O-ring?
No.
I don't
Maybe.
know.
I don't know.
Never.
I mean, I'm definitely not going to go down to 118th. That's for sure. Just not my scale. Well, I shouldn't say that. I always loved.
Right. Because you have a shitload of 118th.
I have a shitload of 118th. And I feel like, 25th anniversary on is kind of the best era of G.I. Joe. And those
this guy.
I know that guy.
Yeah, you do.
So it's like that stuff is great. And I love 118th and I loved Marvel Universe. But it's like, now that I work on 6-inch and I see like what you can do with 6-inch, it's so much, like you could do so much more with it, and everything, the detail just looks so much better, and the face printing and things like that. So I know people are gonna say, well, 118th you get vehicles. Yeah, but I got vehicles. I know you're gonna be like, well, you can get a Defiant. Okay, but can you though? In 2023, can you really get a Defiant?
No, you can get a USS flag in 2023, but you can get a USS flag from the 80s.
Yeah, but that's the thing. No one's gonna make like something that big
anymore. Because Hasbro tried twice to bring back another flag. Mm-hmm. They were gonna redo one of these, and then they were gonna do the Resolute flag, and they got shot down both times.
Yeah, I mean, perfect example. There's a company out there that's making a flying saucer that no one's really buying. So there's your 118th.
That is now taking over O-ring figures, and they're going to do vehicles and playsets too.
Good luck.
Right out of the gate, their first vehicle / playset is not. It's not even 50%.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. Hey man, I'm sure everyone wants to buy a $20 O-ring figure. I'm sure they do.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. The only O-ring stuff that I'm even like looking forward to or funding or backing is stuff that like, friends and independent companies are making. Because I don't need, why do I need another O-ring version of Skidmark? I've got them.
Sure.
But like Call Sign Longbow and Strike Force Alpha and stuff like that.
They're doing great
Absolutely.
stuff. Yeah.
Totally different. It's a different thing. All new lore, new characters, new story.
Yep.
And that's, you and I have talked about this in person. That's what got me into your line. I'm not even a 1/12 scale guy, but I started reading the comics and I started like understanding, oh, this is totally new. It's something completely different. That's the stuff that I go for. I don't go for G.I. Joe just because they're dollies. I go for G.I. Joe because I love the story.
Of course.
But that shit's been done. I said it in the 3POA group. Chris was asking a question. I was like, I have those characters. Like they had their time, they had their stuff. Like it just feels like grave robbing now. But that's
Well, it's kind of like how I feel like I love vintage Star Wars, and it's like when Hasbro started like redoing the vintage figures, it's like, well, I have those figures. Why do I need them again? I know they were trying to do the right thing and like, oh, but some of these figures are hard to get, so we're making a more costly figure for people to afford and get. No, man, that's not what people want. Continue the line. Make the next group of figures. Make characters you haven't. It's like
make the hundreds of characters that never had a figure.
Something new. Yep. It's like you're not doing anything new. It's like, even with the Indiana Jones thing, it's like I get it. Yeah, some of those figures are $300-$400, but it's like we don't need those. They're out there. Yeah. Give us something new.
Yeah, even when they did that Walmart retro line that only lasted like 5 waves of like 2 figures each. I was like, well, if you're gonna do this and you're just re-releasing old figures, do the freaking subscription service figures that nobody can get, like Footloose, Dial Tone, Cover Girl, the ones that are like hundreds of dollars, Law and Order. Give me those. Don't give me 50th anniversary Snake Eyes again.
Yeah.
On the wrong card. It's like a double slap in the face.
I know, right?
But one thing I will say, I'm always for people like, if it makes you happy, buy it for sure. And I would never shit on anybody for that. But at the same time, we're partially to blame because we allow them to do that. We allow them to put the wrong characters on the wrong cards and repaint something immediately and just buy it. And it's like, oh man, they put out a Trouble Bubble. Yeah, I got like 8 of those. Like you're not impressing me whatsoever. But again, that's just me. Johnny B. Custom sends a $2 super chat. Thank you very much. Have you ever heard this before?
A couple times. I mean,
at least twice. Yeah.
The original game is one of my favorite games. I never played anything since the first game. So I don't know where they're at right now with the IP. Is a new game coming out? Has a new game come out? I don't know because I'm not a gamer.
I mean, they just released that Legacy collection.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, for me, it's like if I did them, I just want to go back and do the characters from the first game. I'd have to like do my research on more about what came after the first game to be able to like really do it justice. But
yeah, they got nuts because it goes back to Big Boss and Snake. Snake's gone for a while, and they look exactly the same. So I'm like, wait, is that Solid Snake? No, it's Big Boss. Okay, wait, yeah. But that's just how that Hidekio, whatever. That's just how he is. He's all crazy about story. But anyway, do a Metal Gear Solid.
As an homage to my love of Metal Gear, Senshi, the military samurai character coming in Series 5, he's got a suppressed SOCOM.
Nice.
You gotta have it.
I took a Rise of Cobra ripcord in that, that weird armor that they wear. I'm not talking the accelerator suit, but the they wear under it. It's supposed to be like cool G.I. Joe body armor. I took that body. I took the Storm Shadow's lower legs, and I took a Data Viper head, and I made Gray Fox Cyborg Ninja.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty fun. Here's a guy that we both know and love, Masterson42 sends a $2 super chat. Thank you. And he says, flying vehicle, you say, Air Force is needed. Is it though? Is it?
Hey man, you got to show love to all the branches. Maybe not like Coast Guard, but
no, I do. I do. This is an aviation shirt.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I rock some aviation every now and again. It's cool.
Action Force is going to go into the air. So
rad.
Stay tuned.
That'd be cool. and you and I have talked openly about this stuff. I don't scoop up 1/12 scale vehicles, but I still think it's cool, man. And I'm still rooting for you no matter what. And then JC said, speaking of which, we were just talking about this. I find it odd though how Hasbro is putting out so much classified, and I know that you're not always negative about Hasbro and what they do, and I've seen plenty of times. I've been on shows with you where you're like, hey man, they nailed it. Like,
Yeah.
what are your overall thoughts? You work there. What do you feel about how they're just like cranking shit out? Good.
It's surprising.
Yeah.
It's surprising because when I did the 6-inch G.I. Joe line, not called Classified and not the shitty gold armor designs, they were just so anti anything G.I. Joe unless there was entertainment behind it. And I remember I said, this line can survive without entertainment.
Yep.
And look, I was right. And it's too bad that like my vision didn't get made. But it's like impressive to see like they took a brand with no entertainment and they managed to put out a ton of stuff.
And then they had a failed movie come in during the middle of it.
Exactly, which is crazy. But it goes to show that, nostalgia is big and people want something fresh and new as far as like, not having 6-inch Joes.
Right.
But I have a feeling like that nostalgia is going to run out. But also like there's no brand identity with it. And I kind of made this point about how I love what they did with Metalhead, how they took the design and they tweaked it. They changed it. They made it more modern. And that's what I would have done. I love the Pursuit of Cobra line because they took original stuff, kept the essence of it, made it more updated and modern. Yep. But then they take like some figures and they go straight vintage. And it's like, where's your brand identity? Are you going all nostalgia or are you like, what are you doing? And I don't think they know what they're doing.
And that's always been my big thing with Classified. It's very head scratching because we saw the first 2 waves.
Yeah.
And even in that first 2 waves, like Destro looked pretty. He was just enough like updates, but just enough of like the old school. And same with Major Blood. Destro and Major Blood, fantastic. And then exactly what you just pointed out. Every time I see a new wave and like, what's up with the waves? Are they 3 figures? Are they 5? Are they 4? Are they, the waves are inconsistent as far as numbers. The package art, like there's no visual language consistency with their packaging art.
Yeah.
And then, they go a little too future forward or they do it just right. Or then they go like straight, like repeat. That's just always been my thing with it. And if people love it, I think it's fantastic. I shouldn't have to reiterate it, but I always will. But at the same time, I put up a freaking picture of that Python Patrol Trouble Bubble, and all I said was faster repaint than Mission Brazil. I thought it was funny. It was funny.
Really funny.
Because A, it's a deep cut, and B, it's fucking true. And
really
I just got wrecked. I got wrecked by people like, how dare you say that? You're a fucking hater. I'm like, I'm not a hater, man. It's supposed to make you laugh.
Yeah, it's funny.
Like,
that's really funny.
Down.
If you can't find the funny in that, there's something wrong with you.
Right. And first of all, I wasn't wrong. And secondly, like it's just a joke, dude. Like it's like when when the Dragonfly and they showed Glenda, and I was like, that's actually a really good deep cut.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw that render, I was like, and there's your retro Scarlet, and the fans just paid for that. They paid for that mold. And then so many people are like, what the hell is a Glenda? This thing's going to fail. And I'm like, apparently you don't know G.I. Joe. And but then you know how it is. As soon as you point that out, when you say something like, apparently you don't know much about G.I. Joe, then you get called a friggin' gatekeeper and all this other crap. It's like,
see, my thing is like, and I think this goes back to, I've talked so poorly about him, but the guy running the brand is not a G.I. Joe fan. He's not. He has no idea. His boss is telling him the deep cuts to make. He doesn't know who Glenda is, But it's like weird how they'll come out with a deep cut really early on, like they did Pimp Daddy Destro so early.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that like, why'd you do that so early? And then it's like,
what's up, Toys R Us 3-pack?
Yeah. Then the first Storm Shadow they do is the Ninja Force one. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And they didn't even call it Ninja Force. They're like,
I know.
whatever. And I'm like, dude, that's fucking Ninja Force.
But it's like now they, then it's like they get on track and it's like they veer off. It's like you're watching a drunk driver. They're driving straight and all of a sudden they just veer off. And you're like, well, okay. And come back to the center. All right. And then they veer off again. And you're just like, what are you doing with some of these like weird deep cuts? It's like, listen, if you want to go really crazy, why didn't you do UK's Tiger Force Spirit? You know, you got a Spirit. That figure was great.
Yeah.
You know?
But they did the freaking Outback, right?
They did. Yeah.
Did the Outback, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
What about this?
Stop it.
No, stop it. He just said stop it.
Stop it.
I like it. Figure Fever sends a $2 super chat and says, hey, Chad and Bobby, just logged in. Thanks for being here, dude.
Okay.
Appreciate it. You know the rules around here. If you're late, you owe everyone punch and pie. So you owe 196 motherfuckers punch. Yeah. So
hey, can I skip out for a minute? I want to make a drink.
Yeah, go ahead and skip out. I'm going to hold questions for you. Let me see. Let me look at the live chat here and see who's saying what. Clint Allison. Hell yeah, space can't wait. You want to make it with crazy aliens? That's cool. Squirrel Girl. Now I can catch up. I can catch up. All these questions you guys are throwing in here, I'm trying to star them all actually as fast as I can. So much will actually. Yeah, I know it's actually kind of nice. What about a Chad or Grindhead Jim or Masterson 42 figure? I think I would be an easy figure. I'll just get a bald-headed dude from Marauder Gunrunners and bam. I made a figure of the ma'am. Actually, I made 2 figures of the ma'am. I need a 1/12 scale Action Force mini sub and Scuba Pete figure. That would be cool. The evil hubcap. Oh, what are you drinking?
Jack Honey.
Oh, there you go.
My favorite.
Does it feel good on your throat?
It feels good everywhere.
JC said, I'm telling you, 118, same body as the 112. Can it be done? Is it more expensive to work with?
No. So here's the thing. When I was working on Marvel Universe, like, you know, we were told, all right, so this is back when Marvel Universe was $10 and Legends were 15. And they were raising Legends to 20 and they were raising Universe to 12. And they're just like, look, when I saw the numbers, like to tool a 6-inch figure was not much different than to tool a 118 figure.
Nope. Yeah, because the mold.
Because of the mold layout. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if you're going to pay for that mold anyway, you might as well pack that mold and you pack it with, the 6-inch. You make bigger parts and more detail and things like that. And, I know you guys love your 118th. It's not apples to apples, man. You can't just do it. Also, it's like, I just don't think a 118th figure should be $20. Like,
yeah, that's kind of that whole, that's the barrier.
Like when I was doing Universe and they raised it to 12 and I was like, we're giving them like a figure with less articulation and like no accessories, $12? Are you kidding me? Yeah. Now it's like people are paying 20. It's like, what are the Black Series 4-inch figures going for? Aren't they $20?
Oh yeah, the vintage collection.
Yeah,
they're like 20, 25, something like that.
Yeah, and then it's like that Super 7 5 POA garbage. It's just like $17.
Yeah,
it's like, guys, I know you love your scale, but come on, like you got to draw the line in the sand.
Yeah, and I buy Fresh Monkey Fiction and Marauder Gunrunners all the time. Like I love buying their stuff, but
I'm sorry,
same price. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
See, and we can laugh about it, right?
Love it. It's
we
on
can laugh about it. I'm not going to be like, I'm not gonna do that. And then Ronan X33 says, "Meh, I still love Classified." And you know what?
Okay,
that's cool,
dude. You know how much Classified stuff I have? I have probably almost all of it.
I have 7 of them.
It's like, yes, do I get it just to like, you want to like see what they're doing, but I also get it because like, guys, I'm a fucking G.I. Joe fan. Yeah. Like, everyone forgets that. Like, oh, remember when I said I worked on G.I. Joe and I worked on this, the 6-inch line? Like, do you guys ever forget that? Everyone loves to forget that because they don't want me associated with G.I. Joe.
That badass rifle case for freaking Lowlight.
Yep, they have a bunch of stuff that I worked on.
Yep.
So you're welcome.
Yep.
You know, Missile Command Headquarters. Come on.
Right? The con one.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, I took that shit and I updated it and I made it vertical. And then
nice.
Somebody, David Andrews says Valaverse's Venom series was a good series. Yeah, I got a lot of good stuff from Valaverse's Venom that I appreciate. Oh, look at he's leaving. Come back here, you. Get back here.
That's
with
right.
Your Steel Brigade helmet.
To me, listen. To me, everything from like 2000 to 2007 doesn't exist.
Yeah,
that era of Joe just doesn't exist. It's deleted from the PCU.
There's a couple of vehicles in that time frame, like that Cobra Ringneck. I love that vehicle. I love that vehicle. Here's a question for you, Bobby. Since we're going to move away from the dark years of Joe, Boomerang Collectibles is asking, when is the Vanguard going up for pre-order?
This month.
Oh,
this month. Yeah, I'm just finishing up. Oh, I forgot to email him today. I have a company working on a sizzle video for it. That's just, awesome.
Yeah.
So as soon as that video is done, that shit's going up.
See, and it's cool that you're doing that. Not enough companies do stuff like that anymore.
What, like a sizzle video?
Yeah, like sizzle reels.
I mean, listen, you want to, not that this thing can sell itself. It doesn't need to, but it's just, you want to celebrate it. It's a celebration of how cool this thing is.
Yeah.
That's kind of it. Also, it's like, I want the EP samples to get here so I can take new photography with the actual production samples instead of the paint masters. So that's the other reason why I'm delaying it.
Cool. Well, all 200 of you heard it here first. This month,
baby.
Awesome, dude. That's cool. Yeah, I already asked you the space shuttle question. I'm not throwing back up again. Jeff W, thanks for being here, dude, with your freaking rad mullet. Sends a $5 super chat. Again, thank you so much. Hey, Chad and Bobby. Hello, Jeff.
Hey.
Bobby, I know you collect G.I. Joe. Did you happen to get the HasLab His Tank?
I did. And I'm not afraid to say it. I did.
Did you get your email that it's shipping?
I didn't. They're probably holding mine back.
They're like going through the shipping labels and they're like, yeah
they probably saw
that one, ship that one. They're like,
put that one at the bottom of the pile.
Get that out of my face. Bobby Vala, get that out of there.
And in all fairness, I was going to order a Dragonfly and I just lost track of it and it ended and I didn't get to buy one. So, but I was planning on buying one.
I bought the Soundwave Thunder machine. I bought that. You gonna say I'm sorry?
I'm sorry.
There it is. I did. I bought it, but I bought it from Hasbro Pulse. I didn't buy it from Amazon, and everybody started getting theirs from Amazon, and I'm like, "That's
there you go."
Fuck me, right? I'll just wait. Yeah. I wasn't gonna review your shit anyway. Yeah. You know what? So they probably saw your shipping label for your Hasbro His Tank. They're like, bottom of the pile for that guy. And then they saw my shit for the Soundwave Thunder machine. They were like, didn't we send him a Viper 3-pack and he gave it away? Yeah, bottom of the pile for that guy. Yeah.
Blacklisted, baby. Blacklisted.
That's
just like when they sent Tony that care package, thinking hey, this is a big channel. We're gonna send him this care package. Like no one did their research.
He ripped it. And he was showing all your figures. That video is so good.
I could you want to talk about a backfires? They probably came down on whoever this intern was that were sent. Like, what are you doing sending that to that guy? Be like, well, he had a big channel.
Did you see the video he made?
Yeah, right. He showed Action Force figures in that box.
Yeah, great. That video is priceless. Matthew sends a $5 super chat. Thank you, Matthew, very much. And says, weapons pack with a javelin, please.
Maybe it's already being done.
Oh, I like the fact that every time you're on, like when you're on your show on 3POA,
mm-hmm.
and people ask you for stuff, I want to say 3 times out of 5, if not more, you're like, yep.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have no idea the thousands of things I'm already working on. It's just like, don't worry. If your idea, think of it like this. If you have an idea for something cool, most likely I'm already working on it, unless it's like 118 or it's space. Everything else is fair game.
I'm going to ask you a vague question. And again, for everyone here in the chat, I'm sorry this question's vague, but I believe at this point it needs to stay vague. Have you seen Action Farce? Have you seen the whole thing?
I have.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
When Quentin was sending me all that stuff, and I'm like, dude, like that's amazing. So I know it's vague, and I'm sorry.
It's now normally like I wouldn't be okay with something like that because it's like I want to control my own IP.
Right.
But it was so good that I was like, yes, do it. It was really good.
And the cover, like the throwback cover, it's so awesome.
Yep. And listen, Quentin's art is so good. Like part of me is like, I kind of want to get the comics going again because I just want Quentin to work on the comic.
Yeah. He's such a fantastic artist.
He's fantastic and he's fast. It's like, dude, he'll crank out a comic. I could do comics once a month. It's going to be great.
And I thought it was really cool because, like, I mean, you know your guns. Tony knows his guns. I know my guns, right? Like, I'm a heavy weapons master gunner. And that one panel of a certain character on that caliber 50, he sent it to me when it was just the ink, and he's like, "Does this look right?" And I'm like, "Yep, looks good." And he's like, "All right, cool."
Yeah.
So I thought it was fun.
He's good.
But, all of you you're going to find out about Action Farce at some point, but it's fun. It's very fun. Here's another question for you from Logan Holmberg. Thank you. Says, "Hey Bobby, is there a reason the Action Force female equipment sets don't have radios on their vests like the males?"
I mean, there's not. I mean, I don't know. I guess I just didn't put it on there. I mean, I don't know. It's not like I purposefully said, no more radios. I mean,
because we don't need females on the net. That's why.
I mean, listen. Excuse me. I like the idea of the radios on the male figures. I was a little iffy on it just because, like, with the antenna, some figures came with the antenna glued in, and it's one of those things like a heavy metal mic. It's like it's easy to break or easy to lose.
Yeah.
And then there were some figures that came with the antenna separate, and I was like, all right, but then again, easy to lose, hard to put in sometimes if you got big fingers and stuff. So I don't know. It's just I don't know if I really made a conscious decision to remove the radios or not. But it happened. Sorry, I don't have a better answer for that. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. I don't really know what I'm doing.
Hey, it's still an answer, right? I mean, whatever. HGC says, nah, we need Space Force.
I don't know. Listen, I'm always
Have you seen these friggin' goobers? They're all over the base that I live on, and I'm like, how do you tie your shoes?
Really?
God, they suck. Yeah, they're so terrible.
I'm always up for a challenge. Maybe I can do space and like do it right. Maybe.
Yeah. They're yeah. I don't no. The actual Space Force, like the branch,
yeah.
They're just, I don't know how they don't swallow their tongues. Okay, so we asked that question.
It's a bunch of Sheldons.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's all they are. Yeah. They're just goobs.
I mean, they don't have like a boot camp, right?
No, they do.
Really?
Yeah, they have a basic training, and they call them I forget the term that they use for Space Force recruits. They call them something like warriors or some kind of crap. I don't know. But like their drill sergeants, they almost talk to them in like first names and shit. Like it makes me want to vomit. So I saw a video about Space Force basic training. I couldn't even get halfway through it.
Jeez.
It is terrible. Curb Stomp Film sends a $5 super chat and says, "Great show, guys. Thank you, my friend. Bobby, have you looked into doing another novel? Also, check out the book series Zombie Fallout by Mark Tufo, Zombies and Vampires."
I haven't. I know Bill did a great job on his novel.
Yeah.
It's not something, I'm not a big novel guy. I like comics, but Bill really wanted to do a novel, and he did so much for the brand that I let him do the novel. But I mean, I guess we could do more. It's just not something on my radar right now.
Dig it. Sorry, I am multitasking like mad, like freaking mad over here. I am listening, but I'm multitasking because it's like I'm a one-man band over here.
All right.
Boomerang Collectibles. Chad, love your videos and live streams. Thank you very much. I just try to have fun and keep shit real. Question for Mr. Bobby Vala. All female wave was epic and not done before. What's the next great thing you're working on?
I mean, I said it, in a recent post where I showed the models for Series 5. I think those figures are like game changers. I think, they're really going to like raise the bar just for what we're doing. I mean, it's hard to say. It's like, I think everything is great. I'm really looking forward to like Series 4 because like, doing a ghillie suit is pretty epic.
Yeah.
The ideas I have for Series 6 and 7, pretty wild. The next vehicles. So yeah, I got some really good ideas coming.
Awesome. JC's is asking, any chance of more male gear and backpack sets?
Yes, to both.
I'm trying to throw up questions fast enough to find more questions. Yeah. Matt Rubin. Bobby, how cool was it working on Legend of the White Dragon figure?
Very cool. Very, very cool. It was cool for like a number of reasons. One, it's like, I don't want this to make it seem like I'm tired of Action Force because it's my number one love and I'm always going to love Action Force. But it was nice to like switch gears and do something other than military. Like that's why it was really fun to do that more fantasy realm. And then it's like to do Jason's like potential last figure. Like it's going to be the last figure of his last movie. I'm sure Hasbro or Super 7 will probably put out really bad head sculpts of him again because the Green Ranger sells. But I think this will be the last Jason figure, which is cool. And it was an honor to be able to like do that, to like know that he was my favorite Ranger growing up. And then to now like do this is like, there's something really, really cool about it.
Yeah, that's super awesome. And when we were all, you, me, and Ryan, when we were all streaming together on 3POA, and I went back and rewatched just that storyline of the creation of the Green Ranger and like how he just like wrecks their lives. And I never liked Power Rangers, but something about that, a kid who's their equal with the same powers, and he doesn't start off bad, but Rita makes him bad, and then he kind of has a hero's journey. I really liked it. And there's something that resonates about just that Green Ranger. And even when he becomes good, you still know like he would whoop all of them.
Yep.
Because he did it. Just like busts out his little dagger. Something. Everyone in the chat, and I am caught up on the chat now. Thank you. You're welcome. Guardians. That's what they call Space Force freaking recruits. Guardians. Yeah. Yeah. Guardians. Yeah. Guardians. They all look like a bunch of, yeah.
Going back to White Dragon for a second.
Please.
We want to talk about a really funny egg on your face I'm going to give him a little shout out just because he's so obsessed with me. There was a funny hiss tanker who I think, I don't know because I never saw the actual quote. It was read to me. He said, if I was smart, I would get the Legend of the White Dragon license. Guess he didn't think I'd get it, and I got it. And he's a really big Power Rangers fan.
Oh,
and now he's got to get it. And it's like, ooh, bet that one stung.
It's going to be like a love-hate thing. Like, this figure's so good. I can't believe he made this, but I love it. And I don't know how I feel. And
it's okay. It's okay. He probably went and bought from Big Bad so that I didn't have to send out his order. He didn't listen. At the end of the day, I'm still getting your money. It's just going through a third party.
Yeah.
So don't think like I'm not getting your money. I'm getting your money. I just think it's hilarious that he probably didn't think in a million years I'd get it, that I got it, and now he has to feel like an idiot about it. You're welcome, dickhead.
See this comment right here from a certain guy that we both know?
Hey, bud.
What's up, Ninja? Good to see you, dude. Thanks for being here. Any chance we can get a Steel Brigade helmet 1-to-1 scale? I see one on Bobby's back shelf. I want one. Look at that face. Look at that friggin' face.
I can't comment on that one.
No? Oh, man. All right, cool. That's good.
I mean, didn't I work on the Legends 1-to-1 scale prop replicas and helmets? I think I know how to do those.
No, you don't, because you're going out of business.
Exactly.
You're going out of business like 2 years ago or something.
Yup.
Chris from Cutthroat Comics. Question for Bobby about Action Force movie. Are there rumors true about 2 professional wrestlers being in the Action Force movie?
Isn't that what IMDb says? And if it's on IMDb, isn't that true?
Oh, that's like that's loaded.
I mean, wouldn't it be really cool if like 2 guys from 2 different promotions were in the same movie together?
That would be pretty sweet, yeah.
So, I mean, if it's on IMDb and no one's changed it, must be probably true. I don't know. Maybe.
I'm telling you, man, if that movie's good, right? And I'm not saying it's not gonna be good, but seeing all the G.I. Joe live action stuff that's out there, especially the Snake Eyes movie, right? Like, I don't crap all over Retaliation. At least Retaliation was trying to take it in a better direction. You know, they brought back Storm Shadow out of nowhere, just like the Sunbow series would. You know, like, no one wants to have a discussion. Like, where's all these stab wounds through your torso, man? It's just like, boop, there he is. And I appreciated that. They were trying to go in the proper direction. But again, because Hollywood, when you hear, I'm sure you know this, but like when Mark Webber was in the room and they were talking about G.I. Joe 3 and like assassinating Cobra Commander in like the first 5 minutes, and he was like, don't do that, and all that stuff. But you know, you're going to get a lot more shit, right? If your movie blows away these live action Joe movies. And B, dude, I will watch the hell out of that movie.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's kind of like the excitement of it is like, yes, I 100% want a movie, you know, but it's like there's that little bit of fear. It's like,
oh yeah,
well, somebody thought that Rise of Cobra was good as they were filming it. Like somebody thought that these decisions were good.
People thought that the Marvels was going to be a hit.
Someone thought Wolverine Origins was good. They thought this is a good idea. Hugh Jackman thought this was a good idea to do this.
But again, that's my argument with Snake Eyes Origins. Like, A, why are you doing an origin for a member of a team?
Yeah.
And B, did you not learn your lessons with Wolverine?
Yeah.
Like, you should have just stepped back and said, maybe we're stupid. Maybe we don't know anything about Deadpool. Like, why did you do that to Deadpool?
Yeah.
Well,
you know, I'm worried. It's like, what if you know, I'm seeing there and I'm on set and I'm thinking this is great, and then all of a sudden the movie's put together and it flops. I don't know. You know, there's that risk, man. Everything's a risk.
Yeah, but that's the nature of what all you people who run companies and own IPs and create stuff. That's the risk that you guys take. Like, it's not Crystal Pepsi, but I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. One way or the other. I'm freaking looking forward to it.
That's funny.
Yeah. Bees Battlegrounds. What's up, dude? Is asking, can we expect Action Force animals? Military canines, animal companions?
I think one day down the road. I mean, I would want something ridiculous. Like, trying to think, like, I don't know. Like, if a dude had a tiger, you know, like, who has a tiger? You know, He-Man. Well, I guess, you know, but like Mike Tyson had a tiger. You know, or I don't know, man. It might be cool to either go like the really cute route, like if a guy had like a little red panda that he ran around with, or to go like, you know, a guy walking around with like a kimono dragon on a leash, you know, something like that. I don't know, something ridiculous. But
you could do, and right, if you steal this from me, you got to credit me. You could do like circa 93 Michael Jackson with a chimpanzee.
Ooh, okay.
And give that chimpanzee a sword.
Oh, a tactical. You know, like they have the vest they put on the canines and stuff. Yeah. No one's ever put one on a chimp.
Just saying, because it'll pull your arm right out of its socket. It's like Wookiee. It's like a small Wookiee.
I mean, it could bite your face off. Didn't it bite some woman's face off?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know? And like bashed her whole face. Yeah. And then it's a good talking point too. Like, hey, I like your chimpanzee in that cool tactical vest. By the way, how did it acquire that broadsword? Funny story. And then the chimpanzee just goes at him.
I think it like put a chimp on like a Segway with a broadsword. Man, now we're talking.
It's like,
but
like the jousting knights of old. With a sword.
Listen, I also think there's nothing wrong with going dino hunters.
Ooh.
Action Force dino hunters. I mean, come on. Come on.
But not that shitty squeaky toy though.
Yeah. All right, I have a prototype test shot of that dinosaur.
Do you?
Yeah.
Man, that set goes for money.
I know, and it's money. So bad.
Like that thing in the freaking Toxo lab. I'm like, no, right? I'll never buy that.
Right?
I'll never get it. Tony Robles, thanks, buddy, for a $5 super chat. Finally made it to a Chad stream. Welcome. Thanks for hanging out.
Welcome.
Always imitated, never duplicated. Awesome stream as always, fellas. That's all this dude right here.
No.
All this guy.
No.
Greg, Chad, you seem to be having a lot of fun tonight. I am. I'm having a great time.
He's insinuating that you normally don't have fun on your streams.
Yeah, right. It's kind of a backhanded compliment.
I just read between the lines there. Come on,
hey,
Greg.
Chad, you're not being a piece of shit tonight.
What are you trying to say, Greg?
Good to see you. Yeah. Thanks for being here, buddy. I appreciate it. Man of action, Mr. Bobby Vala. Hey, man, can you guys up there make a headset, like a 6 or 8 different heads in a packet? That's weird because I've seen it.
I mean,
I've seen it.
Yeah, but maybe I just kicked off a couple new head packs. I don't know.
Yeah. That's one of those things. Like when I saw you rolled out that head pack, I was like, this is one of those things. Oh, there he goes. Why didn't people think of, there it is right there. You know what? I'm going to make you big. That's what she said.
Ooh,
bam.
God. Oh, that's so nice.
See, that's the kind of thing when you think back to 1978, 79, and then ask yourself, why didn't Hasbro think of making like a Stormtrooper 3-pack? That's one of those brilliant things. Like, yeah.
My thing is listen, Classified's so successful right now, and it's like all they're doing is figures and vehicles.
Yep.
Why aren't you doing this? It's so easy.
Yeah.
And it sells so well. My gear packs sell really, really well. My gear packs and weapons pack. Now, granted, they're also too late to the game. I've taken over the 1/12 weapons market. No one's topping me. But
actually, sir, Gridiron. Sorry, I had to.
Stop it.
Come on.
Stop it. Stop.
All right.
Yeah, if you like, $12 for one gun when you could buy, like 16 of mine for $12. But hey, it's fine. People like wasting money on 3D printed stuff. It's cool.
Yeah.
Stuff that's gonna warp and paint gets all over your hand. But hey, listen, whatever you want to spend your money on is cool, man. But it's like, dude, do this stuff. I mean, listen, I'm gonna keep doing it. And everyone always switches out their gummy weapons or their 3D printed weapons for my weapons.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's a win-win.
It's a win-win. I'll take it.
Yeah, that head pack was freaking brilliant. As soon as I saw that, I was like, that's as smart as, again, going back to 1979 and whispering into, Barry Loomis's ear, like,
but
you need to
also,
make
it's like, it was so, it's easy. It's like, I took a couple heads and I made them the same colors as figures I've already released.
Yep.
So everything works together and it's like, they're new heads. There you go.
Done. Silly Poll plays. Would there be an Action Force character with an Asian height? Like a shorter character? Is that racist? I feel racist.
That's a little like stereotypical. I mean, Yao Ming was really tall.
Yeah,
I mean,
are you gonna make shorter figures, Bobby?
I mean, I don't know about shorter figures. I mean, I'm making a taller figure.
Making that thick bitch.
Yeah, everyone keeps asking me for thicker women. So, and it got me thinking because I'm like I said, I was working on that new version of that other character, and like I was designing her, and she's got a new body, and I'm like, should I give her more of a trunk? Because that's what people like. I feel like people keep saying it, but I'm like, I don't know. I thought my females were pretty shapely, but apparently not. So Yeah. I don't know.
I'm going to touch on that. So being someone that's been in the combat arms, I'm going to use the word community for 2 decades. The females that are all like thick in those places, they're not in any kind of combat or combat support role. And I know that firsthand because I've been an infantryman for a long freaking time. And B, my wife's an infantryman, and like, she's not like all these females in the service that are like in nothing but the gym all the time. Like when you operate, you have to be a little leaner.
Sure.
Like, all these big like brick shit house people, they're generally not like your I do it every day kind of people.
Yeah.
Here's a question. Bobby, did Mezco ever reach out to you about the 89 Batman figure?
I mean, they didn't. I didn't like really make it like active to do that. But listen, from what I heard about Mezco, like they don't acknowledge anything. They run they're on their own island and they keep it really close, and nothing gets out,
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I would love to talk to Mez. I know Mez, like he gave like one interview over like the last 5 years. I've heard rumors about how things operate there, and I love their stuff. I do. I love their stuff. I would love to sit down with him and just talk to him about things and the business and, how they do things. And, it's like, I'd love to be able to like give him some, constructive criticism. Like, look, why didn't you guys do it this way? Why didn't you guys acknowledge anything with 89 Batman? Because it's like, you never want to acknowledge, you never want to like have to say bad news, but it's like, listen, I had to say bad news through all of series 1 when it was delayed because of COVID. But it's like, you're better off just saying it instead of like not saying it. It makes it worse than not saying anything. So it's like, to have all this money from these people and to not even acknowledge anything about it for 3 years, it's just like, that was really bad. Like that's not cool. That's really not cool. And then for it to come out and be the way it was, it's like, what you should have done was you should have said, look, guys, this didn't work out for us. It didn't work out. We're going to like refund everyone and we're going to go back to the drawing table. It's like, at the end of the day, like everyone's figure is going to experience what my figure did, whether it's experiences it now or experiences it in 6 months or a year, it will experience it because that's just the nature of those seamless bodies. I think they're just not a good thing to use. They will always break down. I think it would have been better to just make this figure plastic, like you did with some of the Iron Mans, and then made the cape cloth. It's like, you guys saw the stream where me and Ryan were unboxing. I spent 45 minutes trying to get the cape to fit, and I'd like get my X-Acto knife. It's like, I don't want to have to like do that. It's like, okay, if you want to do minor things, fine. But it's like, dude, I had to 45 minutes to get the cape to fit on that figure. It's a $100 figure that I waited 3 years for. It's like, it's not right, man. It's definitely not right. But no, and they'll never reach out. They'll never acknowledge things. I mean, I'm the one group I'm in a Mezco group, and I notice a lot of people selling their Mezco stuff and people ordering less, talking about QC, talking about the delays and things like that. And I just think that if Mezco doesn't change the way they do some of their things, it might be bad for them down the road. I don't want to see that happen because I love Mezco, but it's not a good road to be on.
Agreed. And to me, it kind of makes me think back to always talking about the whole "it's okay, but." Like, it's okay, but I can get out my X-Acto knife and fix it. It's like, should you have to?
Should you? Exactly.
Should you have to? It's like, and I understand, like, I always feel weird when people talk about like the gummy weapons and the gummy accessories and all this stuff with a certain company's 1/12 scale toys. And I know that people like you, right, and a few of the others, they benefit from that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I still go back to but should you have to? Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, wait, no, because I mean, that's cool because it's the rising tide that raises all ships.
Yeah, my favorite saying. Well, I mean, what I find interesting is, and I'm not, I don't want to say this because I'm not trying to bash them. I'm just trying to make a point here.
Right.
It's like, should you have to? It's like, I remember when my Series 1 came out and we put in the flyer about heating up the figure.
Yep.
I got so much shit for that across everywhere. Well, it's like, okay, well, that was only Series 1.
Yep.
Have you needed to do that after that? No, because we fixed it. But it's like, I just bought a brand new Mythic Legions figure because it's, I bought the Bob Marley because it looks absolutely awesome. Now, I normally don't collect their stuff. It's not my genre, but I saw that Marley figure and I'm like, I want that. And I got it super fast. And when I opened the figure, a little piece of paper fell out, and it's a little piece of paper about heating up the joints.
Right.
Now, from what I understand, this comes with every single one of their figures for years, and they're still doing it. And it's like, I know other companies that talk about heating joints on their figures. So it's like, my thing is, I get it, and it's great. It's great to be proactive to let people know, but
right.
You kind of, you shouldn't have to, like, years later. Like, look at NECA. NECA has improved. McFarlane has improved. Like, yeah, there was a time where NECA, I wouldn't move a NECA figure. Now the NECA figures are great. I'm sure Michael's video had to do with that, but it's like, should you have to? I mean, I get it. You want to protect the customer, but is everyone going to see this piece of paper? You know what I mean?
No.
So,
I think it's one of those, like, don't eat this.
Yeah.
Legal thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just like, I'd rather see, some companies change again. It's like, yes, did we have some issues? Like the Scarab in Series 2 had a defect in the plastic, but we sent out replacements, but it was a general defect. Same thing with some of the ankles on Series 3. But now there's no issues anymore. You can't control when there's a defect like that. Also, you got to make sure you make the comments to make sure, like, if you have tight joints, like, hey, make sure that these move smoothly and this and that.
Warm it up.
But even, like, yes, warm it up, but should you have to? It's like I'm constantly, like, looking, like, even, removing the male hands on the figures. Like, it got better and it improved, but I still think it's still a little hard. I want it to be much easier.
Yeah.
The ones on the White Dragon are super smooth. They come out really easily. They go in really easy. There's a nice fit to them. So I'm trying to, like, still tweak things. And that's what you want to do. You want to keep your line evolving. You want to keep getting better. You don't want to just stay at a constant.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? Continue to evolve.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, like, always innovating. It should always be done across all this stuff.
Yep.
Silly Pole Play says it's not racist. Thank you. Because I'm Asian and most of us do have a shorter height compared to Westerners. So we're
all right.
Thank you very much for that.
All right.
Okay. Any chance more? Oh, I already asked you that question.
Yep, you got that one.
My bad.
Did you star the one someone asked about making backpacks hollow to fit gear inside? Did you star that one?
I did.
Okay, because I want to get to that eventually.
Okay. Well, we'll get to it in a second.
I just want to make sure you start it.
I did. Greg's asking, Bobby, what did you think of the fact that Action Force's neck peg sizes seem to have made all Hasbro lines panic and each change their peg sizes larger or smaller, respectively?
I mean, I don't know if they're panicking. To me, it's like, and I dealt with it when I was at Hasbro and I was working on Legends. It's like when I was doing the 12-inch line, one of the first notes I made was the ball has to be the same for all the figures.
Yeah.
Got to be able to put Iron Man's head on Cap's body no matter what.
Yeah.
Just make it that way. So it always blew my mind that, like, Legends didn't have a standard ball size. Are you out of your mind?
The Modern Joes didn't either.
And that's the other thing. It's like, and then even with Classified, it's like, wait a second. You have a Steel Brigade head that can fit on one figure but can't fit on another figure? Like, what are you guys doing? Like, what are you doing? Do you know how easy that is to make that comment? Like, you have to be an incredibly bad designer to miss that and allow that to happen.
Yep.
It's like Series 5 is being done at a totally different factory than the previous male figures. What did I do with Series 5? I sent them my entire library of figures from all the series. Here's everything, so that if I want to say this has to work with this, you have to make it that way. So for instance, on the Series 5 bodies, they have to work with all the existing bodies. So all the torsos can fit on the new legs and vice versa. All the heads fit, all of it. So they're great because they've been sending me pictures of the samples, and they're showing me with the new parts, and then they're showing me with existing parts, like how the night vision fits on the new helmet and vice versa.
Right.
And I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. But see how easy it is? Like, it's easy. If I'm telling you, like, I made it the comment and it's easy, how are you not able to do it?
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's some excuse like, oh, well, the factory. No. I don't want to hear the factory fucked up. You get multiple rounds of samples. All you have to do is make the comment. Obviously, you're not checking that, Lenny. So it's like people give me crap because I'm always hating on him. No, I'm not.
Shit, you said his name.
It's like, guys, I'm trying to make the product better for you guys.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get it. You just think I'm hating. And that's stupid of you because you're not listening with your ears.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make the comment so that hopefully it gets back to him so that he starts doing that so it gives you a better product. Is that wrong to do? Maybe I should send him a little letter. Hey, Lenny, just wanted to let you know, I'd appreciate it if you made the ball sizes the same so that your customers. No, he was there longer than I was.
Really?
You should be able to make that comment. And if you're not catching it, you are a bad designer.
He's been there that long?
He was there before I got there.
Get the.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I mean,
in the detail, right?
I mean, he's still making a Hasbro salary, and I probably make 5 times that now. So who won?
Having to throw pronouns and live streams and shit.
Right?
Mr. Mad Gus, Bobby, can we get a Ghost Squad in Valaverse?
Ooh, I like that idea a lot. I do.
That's a good question.
Well, I mean, the Steel Brigade's kind of like a Ghost Squad. Actually, no, they're kind of like an exfil group, but I don't know.
Yeah, QRF, right? Smash your way in, get them out.
Yeah, I like the idea of a Ghost Squad.
Yeah, that's cool.
I do.
Hammertron action figures. How about a line of fantasy action figures? Pathfinder, Warcraft.
I mean, yeah, it's like I'm not opposed to any of that. It like I'm not into those specific brands. Like, again, I'm not a gamer and stuff. Like, I would like to do something I'm into, but I'm trying to think of like fantasy brands I'm into. Like, I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. So it's like, it would be a dream come true to be able to do a Lord of the Rings line. The problem is it's like, all right, well, Toy Biz made an epic line, and then Diamond kind of dropped the ball on it. But Diamond's doing it. It's like, at this point, how do you come in and do a Lord of the Rings line when the movie's 20 years old? Granted, it holds up. People still love it. But, I also like what Toy Biz did was amazing. The depth they went with those characters and stuff. It's just like, I feel like I would have big shoes to fill with that. I mean, I did hear that Peter Jackson's working with Warner Brothers to do a new Lord of the Rings movie. And it's supposed to be like right after Aragorn becomes king. Ooh. So you bet your ass I'm going to be knocking on Warner Brothers' door, Peter Jackson's door, be like, let me do that line because that's what I want to do.
You think it'll have Vigo?
Oh, it has to. It has
right?
It would be
Peter Jackson's all about continuity. If it doesn't have Vigo Mortensen, you'd be like,
Vigo's older now, so it would be an older Aragorn. So I think it would be great. I remember back in my 20s, I think I was like 25. I pitched an idea to the Saul Zaentz company, is the one who owns the Lord of the Rings IP. Mm-hmm. I pitched them, and I did like 6 sample pages of what Aragorn did after he became king. It's like, there's not much about that. It's like, dude, he's everyone's favorite character, mostly everyone's favorite character. But it's like, you hear like excerpts like, okay, well, him and Faramir worked together to like clean up some of the riffraff orcs and stuff that were still hanging around. It's like, well, I want to hear that story. I want to see what he did. So it's like, I pitched them and I never heard back from him, but it would have been cool to like do a comic series like about that. Yeah.
Just don't turn it into 3 movies and put in weird shit about people in barrels in the water.
Yeah.
Well, man, The Hobbit. Woo.
Yeah. I mean, he came in on that project. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't his vision.
No, I get it. Yeah, I totally get it. And when you get mandated to make it 3 movies when it's a book, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
JC's is asking, and I think you just talked about this. Does Blowback Deluxe have the new neck design, or is that the Series 5 body?
Series 5 has the new neck design. Blowback is on the previous body.
There you go, buddy. There's your answer. Masterson 42, sir, sends another $2 super chat. Thank you very much. Action Force Kangaroo name is Tony. I said it.
Wow. We know it's funny. My kids, they went and they got a bunch of ornaments, and my son picked out a kangaroo ornament, and he said it was for Tony. Now, this I haven't told Tony that, so if he hears it, I ruined the surprise. But it was cool that my son, like my kids talk about Tony all the time. Yeah. They love Tony. And yeah, my son got a kangaroo ornament, and he said it was for Tony. So that's kind of funny.
Yeah, Tony's a good guy.
He's a good guy, man. My daughter loved him. Loved him. I don't know why, but
Yeah. Figmonger sends a $2 super chat. Thank you very much. And says Ninja Subline, Thicky Edition.
Yeah.
Just super thick ninjas.
Super thick ninjas. Man.
Ninja, right? Singular, whatever. Mr. Madgus never got a chance to ask Bobby anyway to get like those window blinds on the Vanguard.
Oh, like the armored slats. I mean, maybe as like an add-on, we could do it on a later version. But I wanted, I also, it's licensed. It's a Resvani vehicle, so it's like,
yeah,
I had some liberties, but I had to keep the overall essence of that vehicle. But maybe down the road.
There you go. They always do like vehicle accessory packs.
Exactly.
Right? Who knows?
Exactly.
HGC for Bobby, would you consider Action Force weapon packs with older firearms, pre-World War II, Great War stuff, cool Western style?
Maybe already doing it.
That's like 6 for 6 tonight.
I know, right?
Or something like that. Hey, would you consider? Yeah, I'm doing that.
True.
I'm doing that. Yeah, doing that. Whatever. Raw talk, real deal. Bobby, by chance, here's your question. Can you make hollow or standard hollow backpacks so that we can tote handguns, grenades, walkie-talkies, radios, small accessories?
Have you not gotten any of my backpacks? The back panel all come off of them, and they're all hollow on the inside to fit all the hands and helmets and guns and stuff like that. Yeah, get some of my backpacks. You'll see. Already done it. Already done it.
I'm not doing this to be mean. I'm doing this for the fun factor. Okay, just appreciate the joke. So it's just a joke.
It's all right. He might be new to the line. It's okay. Backpack set were in Series 1. I mean, I've had figures come out with backpacks since then.
Yes.
But man, it's okay. Give him the benefit of the doubt. But
we
already did it. We already did it.
The question's for you, not for me. I just played the tone because I thought it was funny. Boomerang Collectibles agreed with gridiron pieces and quality. Any chance we could get some world building kits or dioramas?
I've always said it's kind of tough, like with that. I mean, do I want to do a playset? Yes. But the thing with playsets were, when we had playsets when we were kids, it was about play features. Like, the Fright Zone. It's like it had the hand that came out. And it's like trapdoors and things like that. Like, there was a play value to it. Nowadays, it's like, the playset's just a setting. So, you look at, the Super 7 play sets. They're just settings. They're not, there's no play value to it. You just stand your figure up. You do it. So to me, it's like, if I want to do a play set, granted, I know we don't play with the figures. We just set them up. So a play feature might be lost on us nowadays. But to me, it's like, I don't know. I want to do something that's cool and compelling. Also, play sets were done because there was like iconic stuff. I mean, except for like G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe was able to do a play set, and it wasn't anything that showed up in the comics or the cartoon. They just did cool stuff. But you look at all the other play sets, Castle Grayskull, Snake Mountain, Thundercat's Lair, the Voltron Tower, like all that stuff came from somewhere, like the comics or the animation. So it was iconic. It was part of the story. I haven't introduced anything like that into Action Force yet. So I'm just waiting to eventually do something like that. I mean, listen, there's a lot of guys that do diorama pieces and stuff like that, like sandbags and stuff. Like, I always love the idea of those small play sets for GI Joe, like the Checkpoint Alpha
Battlefield accessories.
Accessories. So it's like stuff like that is cool. And I think with 6-inch, you almost have to go that route because of price point. And
they're great. Like, you can put them anywhere.
Yeah. I just haven't solved that puzzle yet. I'm still working on it though.
So I'm not trying to skip questions, but as I was scrolling for other questions, Nicotronus, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Bobby, what about a headquarters, something with modular walls, could buy multiple to make a larger headquarters or something? So that kind of fits into what you were just saying.
There's definitely something interesting about that. I mean, listen, what Ace is doing at Ramen with the, with that sewer, making it all modular like that, like there's something really cool about that. I just don't know what the right thing to do is. It's like, do you do an Action Force base with like an armory and, a jail cell? Like, what do you do? I just haven't gotten there yet. And I will, it's just, it's not something I want to rush just yet.
Aragorn versus Conan the Destroyer.
How dare you put that on me? How dare you?
I had to do that just for the fun factor. And then HGC says Aragorn versus Doom and Toth.
So I saw a funny
shit.
I follow this one page on Facebook. It's like a Lord of the Rings page, and it's really funny, like Lord of the Rings memes and stuff like that.
Right.
And someone put out something like certain characters fighting certain characters. And now another one of my another movie that I really, really like that a lot of people probably hate, and I'm sure Michael and Tony would hate it too, is I liked Troy with Brad Pitt and Eric Bana.
Oh, I do too.
And like Achilles in that movie, he's so nasty and he's such a good fighter. And someone said Brad Pitt Achilles versus Vigo Aragorn, and I was like, whoa. I think Achilles got him. Achilles was just too vicious of a fight,er.
He's so agile. Yeah.
So agile. Yeah, I think he would have him. Now, Conan, listen, Aragorn went up against an Uruk-hai, which I think you could say is equal to Conan, and he fucked that Uruk-hai up. So we all know that Aragorn will win that fight.
Ipso facto, Batman.
Whoa.
Just saying.
Whoa.
He beats Superman. Darkseid respects him.
Yep.
What about this? G-Force Racing 20. Make a spaceship crewed by Spaceball figures.
Listen, I would love to be able to do Spaceballs figures. I think, and I know that from what the rumor is that Mel Brooks said, like him and George Lucas had an agreement that Mel Brooks wouldn't do
toys. Yep.
Toys. But it's been so long, and George Lucas doesn't own Star Wars anymore. So I'm kind of like, I feel like he should be okay with it now.
You need to make a figure that's, what is it? Gunner's mate, first class asshole.
Yeah.
Just like,
I just feel like Spaceballs is one of those things where it's still a staple of pop culture that if you did figures now, people would absolutely love it.
Oh yeah.
They would love it.
And then you make like this exclusive 4-pack where it's their stunt doubles, and it's the little dude with the mustache as the Princess Vespa.
Oh man, it would be awesome.
That would be freaking hilarious.
I mean, you could do yogurt with a flamethrower. Listen, could you imagine doing the what did they call the Winnebago? What was it called?
I don't remember.
I know he had a name for it. But could you imagine doing that as like a vehicle playset? Like it opened up, like that's something I would want to do.
That'd be rad. Yeah, that'd be super cool.
Yeah.
Here you go. Just Jeff. Question for Bobby. 2 questions in the form of 1. When will Action Force accidentally cross dimensions and help Conan, who destroys, fight serpent-based cults? Also, what does Gotham City look like in the Action Force universe?
Well, I mean, listen, when Action Force eventually goes to Cyberdyne and gets the time machine, they could go back in time and probably go and find Conan when he's, praying at the stone before the Queen's men come. Maybe that could happen. I mean, it seems plausible, right? Yeah.
What about your version of Gotham? Is it like Detroit? Philly? No, Philly's too nice. Yeah.
Philly's kind of a dump. My version of Gotham.
This is such an off the wall question.
I mean, because every city in the United States now is a shithole. So it's like, what would I want my Gotham to be? I don't know. I mean, the Gotham and the Bale version was cool.
Because they made it a character.
Because they made it a
what
character.
It needed to be, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the one in the Pattinson one, they made dark and grimy. That was one thing about Snyder's universe is that Gotham and Metropolis, they weren't different enough, and they didn't really highlight them as characters. I mean, there's something very cool about 89 Gotham, that noir feel to it,
I'll agree with that. Yeah. Mad Mardigan versus Aragorn. Mad Mardigan, you all great.
Yeah. I mean, listen. I know
they would be bros. They wouldn't fight.
They would exactly. Now, if you said like Aragorn versus General Kale, I know Mad Mardigan beat General Kale, but I don't know. To me, General Kale, and that's why like I want to do a 6-inch Willow line. I kind of want to just get the license just to do a General Kale figure. To me, he and this is kind of where I got the thought of doing Bone Collector. Like General Kale was, to me, one of the coolest villains in movies.
Yeah.
Dude rolled in with a skull mask, and his sword was nasty.
Yeah.
So it's
he was very, like when I saw him as a kid, I was like, that looks like Warduke in more clothing.
Yeah.
But cooler. Yeah.
To me, it was just like such a cool character. And I remember when that shitty Tonka line came out, and I'm like, that's the General Kale. Like, no, I want like a real version. I could take his sword out and stuff. But
burly.
I wanted to do a 6-inch Willow line just to do General Kale. And, I remember I was watching Willow, and then like I thought of the idea to like, man, it'd be cool if like there was like a modern day General Kale and he was like in the military. And that's kind of how I came up with Bone Collector.
Yeah. Bone Collector's rad.
So, it's like, you don't say Mad Mardigan, say General Kale. But again, he got beat. I mean, it was a great move that Mad Mardigan did with stepping on the sword, and killing him. Also, listen, Mad Mardigan kind of cheated. He picked up Eric's hand sword and he went 2-on-1. It's kind of like,
but he knew he was getting rocked. But then he did when he hit him across the face and he took out that mask. I was like,
I was like, whoa, all right.
Flash Johnstone. Hi guys. Bobby, how about getting Jack Bauer, Kiefer Sutherland?
So 24, I love Kiefer Sutherland. I actually have a drawing that I did of Kiefer Sutherland as Jack Bauer, and I got him to sign it to me.
That's
so like, I love that. I love that show. It's one of the coolest characters. So it's like putting him in the Action Force line would be so cool. I mean, I'm like, how would you go about doing that? I don't know. It's like,
because he's like an agent.
He's like an agent. Yeah. He's older now. It's like, I don't know. I feel like, in the movie, it's like, how cool would it be if like Kiefer Sutherland played Siege, like a gritty, like, ringleader kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That would be awesome. I think there's something there. I just don't know how you go about doing it.
Still a good question.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yes.
Rick Shattered Glass Jazz. Thank you so much, man. I'm sorry it took me a while to get to your super chat. I really hope you're still here. Bobby, I haven't asked about Clash of the Titans license in a while. I'd love to see a 6-inch line. Any interest in playing in that universe? Help me, Valaverse. You're my only hope.
I would love to. It's so right out here in the hallway in my office, I have a one sheet, an actual 1981 one sheet from the theaters of Clash of the Titans. It hung in my old office. I brought it here. I just love that movie, man.
It's so good.
I have all the Mattel figures, even the Kraken. So it's like, dude, to do it would be so good. And it sucked that, like, when they did the reboot, it sucked because I wanted it to be good. But
just nothing touches that Ray Harryhausen freaking.
Yeah.
He takes her head off and she like claws down the wall and her tail's like.
I just wonder, like, if you did it, would anyone care? Well, obviously, like, we would care, but would like a general public care about, you know, him in a little loincloth and, you know, that design, that dated design of characters? I don't know. You know, I would love to find out, but it's, you know, it's a big expense to do that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to get through a couple more, and then I got to ask you 2 things and then 3 POAs on.
Oh, that's right. Ryan does his show.
Ryan's on.
You know what? Screw it. Let's go against his show.
Okay.
Let's go against the show. Take that, Ryan.
Cool.
Make him cancel his show.
So this comment's from a little bit ago, right? Because we're having a nice conversation, but Suka's talking about innovation, and he says, you mean raising prices and laying people off? That's innovation, right?
I mean, if that's innovation, I don't know what I'm doing, because I lowered prices and, you know, obviously I haven't laid anybody off.
And then you pissed people off, and I was like, what the hell?
It's like, here I am. I'm trying to do the right thing. Like, everything I do is trying to do the right thing for people, and people still bitch, man. I gave them a vehicle for less than $200.
I know, when we were at Joe Fest and I took that friggin' picture of that packed ass room of you like announcing the price range for the Vanguard, and then people started bitching. Like immediately people were bitching, and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's like,
dude,
did you buy the His Tank? Because if you bought the His Tank, you shut up.
You could freaking cure cancer, man.
Yeah.
People still.
It's like, dude, my Vanguard's bigger than the His Tank, and it's $885. It comes with a figure, it comes with all this stuff. Like, what more do I have to do? Do I have to, like, give it away? Do I have to say it's $1? Like, is that what is going to make you stop bitching and moaning? I just don't get it. It's like, wait a minute, I'm the only company that lowered prices. It's like, wait a second, I kept my figures the same price for 2 years, the same price, whereas every company was raising prices year after year after year, and I kept mine the same. And then I said, wait, the line's getting bigger and more popular, I'm going to lower prices. And it's like, I was still hated for it. It's like,
it's because your shit's not an Ollie's for like $4.
Listen, man, that's bad. Listen,
Linda.
No one's enjoying the Ollie situation more than me. And I was waiting for a troll to do this, like take an Action Force figure. They'd be like, look, Action Force is at Ollie. I can tell you right now, no, it's not. I'm going to say it. You can try your fake shit all you want. We are not at Ollie's. Every one of our retail partners has sold out of our stuff. So there's no way our stuff is going to Ollie's. I'm not working with Ollie's, but I find it funny. Hasbro at Ollie's. And then I just saw a picture that Boss Fight stuff's at Ollie's, and I had to laugh. I was like, ooh, that's a sting.
You know, here's a good segue. Where is your stuff going to be pretty soon?
Hopefully in Walmart. Listen, the online sales on Walmart.com are going extremely well. So I'm very happy about that. And then I just think that, you know, that opens the door for so much more moving forward.
I got to say, you and I were talking about this backstage before we went live, but I think it's as soon as I saw you drop that news, and, you know, I mean, because we kind of all talk, and some of us knew it was coming, but people can keep their mouth shut. And dude, I thought that was rad. That's really good for, you know, your company, the brand, the toys, and it's just awesome.
It's exciting, man. It's you know, every day is like exciting. Like every day new stuff happens and new opportunities and things like that. And I'm like, this job hasn't gotten boring yet. Like, I love this job so much. I absolutely love it. I mean, dude, I got a vehicle coming out. Like, you know, the fact that, like, I'm here, and like when me and my buddy Jordan were talking about and counting every item, and I'm like, holy crap, I'm almost at 100 items. And to think back at, like, wow, that first item was that prototype weapon set on that fold over blister card. It's like, that was crazy. That was the first item, and that thing sold out in minutes. And it's like, the line has been, you know, we've had, you know, a miss here and there, but it's like overall, it's like the line has been so successful, and I'm just like, man, this is really cool. It's really cool to like do this.
Yeah. I appreciate the fact that, like, you worked on 4-inch Joe, you worked on a bunch of other stuff, and then you were like, you know, I'm gonna do something new.
Yeah.
You just don't. And as much as I love all my dollies and I love my, my GI Joe stuff,
My dollies.
yeah, but not enough people do new anymore. Everybody wants to, it's nostalgia. Oh, bring back the Ninja Turtles again.
Yeah.
Bring back fucking Strawberry Shortcake and, Polly Pockets, and I'm waiting for Stompers to come back. Everybody wants to bring stuff back, and not enough people are doing new. And that's one thing I've always appreciated is new. When I knew you were doing Sarge, and then I read the issue, and like the guy's been around, he's seen some stuff. Like he's beat up, he's not young anymore. Yeah, I loved that he was older. One of my arguments about Classified was always like, if Snake Eyes is now a mantle, right? He's no longer a dude; it's a mantle, which I got my own issues with that. Why don't you just do like General Falcon? Could still have Snake Eyes. Maybe you could still have like Stalker if he's just like, desk job, old grizzled Sergeant Major yelling at everybody.
Yeah.
And then all new characters. Do like a news story. Just do something different. You could still have some of the old, bring in some of the new. Destro could still be around.
Sure.
But nope. Shipwreck. Same shit.
Yeah, man. And it's like, it's so easy to do new. Like, so easy. And it's like, it looks like they're doing it. Like, don't they have that like Night Force, like para jumper that leaked out or something like that? It's like,
well, they got that Parth Varma guy who pretty much just looks like Beachhead version 3, but
gotcha.
I don't know. Yeah, they're doing some other stuff. They did the Mole Rat and things like that. I mean, I'm not completely crapping on it.
Yeah.
It's not a beat up on Hasbro statement. It was nice to see something new.
Sure.
And I appreciated the fact that when you made Sarge, like Sarge is now, but your stuff takes place in the future, It was cool to see Sarge now in a future story and just the different layers on it. Because even if you just want to talk about Joe was always future forward anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. Palpatine, Lord Palpatine, question for Mr. Vala. Hope you're doing well. How are you able to keep QC issues to a minimum when $1 billion company can't, especially when it comes to premium HasLabs? Stay safe.
I mean,
stay strapped.
I made the comment before about a certain designer not making these comments. It's like it's the same thing like with the Super 7 stuff, like Super 7's QC issues, or like a Super 7 figure coming out and missing an entire accessory. You're just like, wait a second. Here's how it goes, guys. You get your test shots. That's like something like this, just molded plastic. Then you get your EP sample, which is the first decode sample with production deco and things like that. You're still able to make comments there. Then you get an FEP sample, which is the previous decode version with your comments corrected on the actual packaging. And then you get your final production sample. It's like you have like 4 rounds to make comments. Yep. It's not like they're just doing stuff and you don't see it get done. Like, no. That's why I'm so hard on these companies. There's so many opportunities to make these comments, and I don't understand where the disconnect is. Why is Lenny not making these comments? Why are the Super 7 designers not making these comments? I would love to know. No one's honest. No one's open about it. I would love to know. Like, if you were open and honest about it, maybe people would have answers, but they're never going to give you answers. Super 7's never going to explain that. Instead, they're just going to make a pack like, this is our fuck up pack. Here's our pack of all stuff we screwed up on. Here you go. There was so much that we screwed up on. We're making a whole pack with it. Like, what are you doing? How does a Simpsons character missing an apron, like a big accessory? Like, how did that happen? Like, seriously, how did that happen? Did your FEP and EP sample have it? Did the factory miraculously just forget it? Like, you need to explain these things because someone like me is coming out telling people the process. I'm pulling the veil back and I'm showing how it's done. It's not, there's no secrets anymore. The days of secrets are over. I'm exposing all that shit because I don't think it's right for this to happen. I explained the scarab thing. Yes, there was a defect in the mold, in the actual plastic. When plastic comes, it's in all these beads. And then they put it in the hopper and it melts down and it injects into the thing.
Right.
There was probably an issue with the cooling or whatever that batch of plastic was that caused a defect in the hip. Okay, well, we addressed it and the factory made new hips. I sent everybody replacements. It's not a big deal. Like, I'm telling you what happened. Like, why are you not being honest about why this stuff happens? You know, like and again, Hasbro will never ever say it. Super 7 will never ever say it. Mezco will never say it.
No,
they just won't. But I'm going to keep saying it until I change the system, because that's the thing. We cannot keep doing things the way we're doing things.
Yeah. And that covers everything. So the distribution that's been going bad since 2014, 2015 that nobody wanted to fix, and it just got worse and worse and worse. Or even something stupid like, why did you change Slaughter's Marauders to Mad Marauders? Can't even give like a stupid simple answer. We're just going to ignore it. Yep. What about the Sentinel's knees? We're just going to ignore it.
Yeah.
You can't ignore people like that.
And that's the thing. It's like, well, we all know why they're calling it Steel Core.
You know what's funny? I have a question for you exactly related to that.
Okay.
Possible Pie asked, when you bought Action Force, was it just a trademark name or did it include all the IPs for all the vintage characters?
No. So the way it works is there's trademark, which is a name. And then there's copyright, which is a design.
Right.
So like if I designed Condor. Okay, well, Condor is protected by copyright because that design was mine. It lasts forever. It's protected forever. That's always going to be my design. No one else can replicate it unless I were to sell it to them. When I purchased Action Force, I only purchased the name itself. So, and each name is a separate trademark. Yep. So I bought Action Force and I bought Steel Brigade. Now, the thing with trademarks is you have to keep them relevant. Now, you have to put something out every 3 years. Yep. If it goes longer than 3 years, the trademark goes abandoned.
Which is why Baroness became Chameleon.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So, now it's like Hasbro's better about it. Like they had the big A-list stuff, but something like Action Force, they didn't give a shit about it, And then Steel Brigade, they just it went under the radar.
They give a shit about it now.
It went under the radar, and it's like I love that I own the name of my favorite G.I. Joe character ever. You know, and that I could do my own Steel Brigade, and I love that. Listen, I give them a lot of credit. That was a ballsy move for them to do Steel Core. Yeah. Ballsy. I give them a lot of credit for that because they could have just ignored it.
Yeah,
but they did it. But also now it makes them look stupid. It's like, well, you could never ever call it Steel Brigade ever again. That is mine forever. You know why? Because I don't care what it takes. I will keep doing product of just Steel Brigade every 3 years just so they can never, ever have it back. And now it's like they're in panic mode now because I saw that they started going after smaller companies for certain things, names that are similar and this and that. And now they're trying to like put things out to like protect everything, because that made them look really bad that I went in there and I did it all legally, despite what some idiot fucking says.
No. You stole it.
I stole it. I stole it illegally were his words.
Right? Yeah.
Which are going to get him in trouble. But
I know.
No, I did it legally. And you know what's funny is Hasbro was notified of what I was doing because they subscribe. There's these things like when you're a big corporation like that, you subscribe to these, I don't know, like periodicals or whatever.
Yeah.
They get notified of every trademark each month that someone applies for. Mm-hmm. Whether they look through them or not, they are notified. So I did Action Force and Steel Brigade. Maybe it went across somebody's desk. Maybe they didn't read it. Who knows? But it went to them. They were notified of it. They just didn't do anything about it. No one cared at the time. So now it's mine. So people keep asking me like, "Oh, are you going to do Red Shadows? Are you going to do like Baron Ironblood?" And I don't know. Those are separate trademarks, but also those original designs are owned by Hasbro because Hasbro purchased. Well, I think Tonka purchased Palatoy and Hasbro purchased Tonka.
Right,
either way,
Tonka Kenner.
Either way, Hasbro owns Palatoy, so they own all the original design.
Right. Well, so you had said yourself before that you could have bought the trademark of Baron Ironblood. I know you talked about it.
I could have. All that stuff, dude. Yeah. I couldn't. At the time when I purchased Action Force and Steel Brigade, dude, I you can't imagine how many trademarks were available. Serpentor was available. like I went through and one day I looked up like every single G.I. Joe and like what was available. And because Hasbro wasn't doing anything with the brand for so long,
Nope. Yep.
It's like, yeah, the Collectors Club stuff kind of renewed some things for them. Some. But at the end of the day, like they didn't do enough. Like they didn't do enough to keep that stuff. Shame on them. Not shame on me. Don't get mad at me.
Nope.
Don't hate the player, hate the game, dude. They fucked up.
That's right.
So yeah, things like that were available. But I didn't want all that stuff. I didn't want to just rehash original Action Force. Like Bob Ruthin, the original designer of Action Force, loves what I do and said it is a continuation and a new iteration of what he created.
Yeah. Bob Ruthin is all about what you guys have been doing.
That's the other thing that I find funny is that the guy who created Action Force has praised my line, yet people hate on my line and say it's fake and it's not real. And this, okay, well, you're going to tell me that the original designer of Action Force is wrong? Go tell him he's wrong. Go tell him. I bet you won't.
Yeah. You and Skeletron both have that leg to stand on because he loves their Robo Skull and he loves what you do with Action Force. Like,
yeah, let's go back to Action Force. So that's the difference between trademark and copyright. Yep. Now, I think some companies are skirting the line with copyright. Like I do something totally different. I make my own new designs.
Right.
Some people want to copy old designs and not make anything fresh and new.
Correct.
I got a problem with that.
Yeah.
They're just lucky Hasbro has a really bad legal team because they could totally come down on some of that stuff. And I think they're starting to.
But they'll send the Pinkertons to your house if you
I think they're starting to protect things a bit more now. They're trying to backtrack, but
here's a comment from HGC. Still waiting for Troy 2, The Odyssey, starring Sean Bean.
Hey, listen, we're getting a second, Gladiator, so maybe we'll get a second Troy.
Yeah, what the hell with Gladiator 2? And I'm like, is he just going to be dead the whole movie? It's going to be Jaimin Hunsu?
Well, no, I believe it's what's her name's son, the chick's son in the movie. I'm pretty sure it's him. Yeah, but
Claudius?
Yeah. But it's like, dude, he grew up like a prince. How's he going to be Gladiator? But I can't believe, like, I love Ridley Scott. And I can't believe he's like doing this. I'm like, what are you doing?
Seems a little weird.
You don't want to do this. Don't do this. Don't do it.
Robert Diaz sends a $5 super chat. Thank you, Robert. Here's an idea, Bobby. Conan the Librarian from UHF, as well as Gandhi from Gandhi 2.
Wow.
And Rampo.
Conan the Librarian. So good.
UHF is so good.
Yeah.
You can make a Stanley Spadowski. Yeah.
Seeing that movie as a little kid, that was great.
Really just like he cuts that person in half.
Yep.
There you go. Conan the Librarian. You heard it here first. From Action Force. I already asked you that one. Instead of playsets, what about like lockers for stowing gear?
Maybe.
There you go, Mojo 86. you got a quiet pause and a maybe.
What is that? 7 for 7?
Yeah, that's 7 for 7. Boomerang Collectibles. I think Chad brought out the best in Bobby. I have seen him before on live streams, and I really appreciate his explanation today of trying to push other toy lines to do better. In all fairness, Boomerang, I've heard you say this numerous times.
Listen, I appreciate that. I spread the word. Like, tell people like I'm not all bad. I'm trying to make things better, despite what people say.
Despite stealing trademarks and not being a collector and being a hater.
I hate G.I. Joe, It's not
speaking of which, so we talked about the Vanguard, we talked about Walmart, what's new with Valaverse, all sorts of stuff. Joe Fest. You want to talk about that?
We can.
Okay. So there was the business that went down earlier this year that everybody is already tracking, all that drama and Kennyverse and all that crap, and Robert's Infinite Realms, awesome video. I got hands.
Yes. Great video.
I got dragged into it after my car rant because I was just pissed. when I saw the announcement from Joe Fest, knowing what I knew, right? Because you guys talk about stuff.
Yeah.
I knew what was going on, and then Joe Fest made the announcement. So then I made the car rant because I was just mad, and I was mad about it from an attendee standpoint because you guys, I'm bringing back Skidmark. You guys always have lines. Attendees love seeing you guys and buying your stuff and all of that. And then all that stuff went down. So are you looking at doing other stuff? I know you just did the Maryland Toy Expo.
Yeah. I'm figuring out my whole slate of cons for 2024.
Mm-hmm.
We are doing. We're definitely doing Terrificon, which I'm very excited about because it's at a casino. So if you come there, I won't be at the booth.
Yeah.
So come find me at the poker table or the craps table, or throwing cards at a blackjack dealer. But so we're doing that. We have a couple shows, small shows at the beginning of the year. And then we do have a replacement for Joe Fest that we are doing in September. That is going to be a huge show in Georgia as well. So you'll probably want to go to that show instead because I'm going to I'm going to have, a pretty awesome exclusive that will only be available at that show. So you're only going to want to go to that show. So, yeah.
And then there's no PowerCon next year.
There's no PowerCon, which is disappointing because PowerCon was a great show.
Yeah. Because the only date they could get was the same weekend as DragonCon, right? And then they were like, yeah, we're not going to do that.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. That's that whole.
It's like when you take a year off, I think it's a lot harder to come back from that. Like I remember when Hascon launched.
Yep.
And the company said what a successful show it was. But then they said, yeah, we're going to take a year off. And then has there ever been one since? Nope. It's just like, how are you going to say it was a success and then never do one again?
Yeah.
No, we know what you're doing.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those things. Here's a good question from Mo. Do all Walmart sales ship from Valaverse headquarters, and does it make any difference if you were to order from Walmart or Valaverse direct?
It doesn't. I mean, Walmart takes a big cut. Whereas if you order from me, I get more of the profit. But it all ships from here. We had the choice to either ship to Walmart's distribution center or to ship ourselves. And I said, listen, we're already doing shipping. It's just easy to throw it into the rotation.
Yeah.
And I like the control. I don't like letting someone else kind of deal with that stuff. So I
take your shit and put it in a paper envelope.
Yeah. So we ship the same way we ship out here. So I wanted that control and to be able to give customers exactly what they're expecting from Valaverse.com. So, we chose to do it that way.
That is actually really good information because I know that you dropped that announcement and I thought that's good for everybody. And then, the people started because everybody's got a fucking Debbie Downer like, well, now I'm going to get my shit and like a mailer and it's going to be all busted and blah, blah, blah. So, it just dispelled that.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Raw Talk, Real Deal. Bobby, I have some ideas to pitch you. How can I get in contact with you? I'll tell you what. Don't send him a friend request on Facebook because he won't ever approve it. You know how I know?
Did you say when I didn't approve it?
You never fucking accepted my.
You know what it is? I never look at any of my friend requests. Ever.
We're friends on Instagram, and that's where
it's like, what? I'm gonna remedy that. I'll make sure I approve that. But and I told people like a few years ago, I would do the same post on my personal page and on the Valaverse page, and I'm like, why am I doing double work here? I was like, I want something that's mine. You want to follow Valaverse news? Go to the Valaverse page. And I also like clean things out. I'm like, listen, I understand people want to be friends and send friend requests, but I started cleaning house in my friends and just getting rid of people like, listen, if I don't hang out with you or talk to you on a weekly basis, I'm getting rid of you. It's like, and then I had people like almost like butthurt about it. Like, hey, I noticed you we're not friends anymore on Facebook. It's like, dude, this is my personal page. Do we talk? Are we really friends?
Yeah. It's like your family.
It's exactly. Yeah. It's my family and friends, like real friends. It's nothing personal. And people were like taking it personally. But like, no, man, like, and it's like, listen, I get so many Facebook friend requests on a daily basis, but I don't approve any of them. It's like, that's my page, man. That's for me. That's for me. It's my family and my close friends. I run the other Facebook pages. Some people here are working on that stuff also, but it's like 60% me, 40% them. But it's like, send messages there. I don't take it personally that I didn't, approve your friend request or something like that. It's just, that's my page, man. That's my page. Chad, I'm sorry.
Totally cool.
Let me find it.
Flash Johnstone says, Bobby, you should have bought Serpentor trademark just to stick it to him. I was thinking that in the back of my head.
I mean, it would have been funny. It would have been really funny.
Imagine they're like, hey, we should dust off Serpentor and make him a con exclusive. Actually, sir, I have some bad news. Who owns that? Oh, they would lose.
When I saw, and it's like, could you imagine if they're like, wait a second, we don't own Serpentor? Like, that would have been really funny.
They would lose it.
Could you imagine something like their Serpentor?
Oh, Robert's Infinite Realm says September is my birthday. Just saying.
Oh, hey, happy birthday.
Now you got something to look forward to in September.
Exactly.
That's cool. You guys are going there. I was going to see if I could talk you guys into the Dallas-Fort Worth, the DFW Joe show.
It's too far of a drive.
I know it is. Yeah.
Too far of a drive.
But I'm going there. And
confirm. We're now friends.
Yeah. Chad. You guys stay out of here first. That's what I'm talking about. It's just, like Daryl DePriest is going to be there, Ron Rudak, Kirk Bazigian, and we've all talked about this openly. I'm not going to Joe Fest if, you guys who I'm friends with aren't going to be there. And then it's snowballing. Other people aren't going because of all the dumb shit that didn't need to happen. So I'm why am I going to go twice the distance to see half the people? I'll just go to Dallas and I'll see Kirk.
There you go.
Yeah.
Listen, loyalty is very important to me.
Me too.
And if you're not loyal to me and I'm loyal to you, it's not reciprocated, well, you're going to find out the hard way. Now, I'm not saying that I'm trying to ruin somebody's show. Fans will do that. The fans will show you. The fans will show you. You'll be down in attendance. A bunch of people aren't going, which is, hey, you make your bed, you sleep in it. Did I give them some sort of ultimatum? In a way. But at the same time, if you're a showrunner and you're premier guest, and I was the premier guest, no one else was.
They rearranged the entire layout.
Wouldn't you do whatever was necessary to protect your premier guest, especially if your premier guest has a request that there's, harassment going on or something like that, and you don't want to be put in a position where you're in an area where someone's allowed to harass you and the showrunner's doing nothing about it.
That has a cease and desist on his ass too.
It's like, listen, again, you make your bed, you sleep in it. He's going to find out the hard way. It's like, he wasn't loyal. He wanted to bury his head in the sand. And that's that. That's fine. I'll make a great exclusive for another show, because the second it was announced that I wasn't going to Joe Fest, I had an unbelievable amount of offers from other shows. Like, will you do my show? Hey, I'd love for you to do the show. Love for you to do the show. Yeah. Which also, I'm sure a bunch of people went to Joe Fest and said, hey, Valaverse is not being there. Ooh, I can go now. Good luck with that. Because I'm pretty sure that Marauders and Skeletron and Gridiron are not going to have the line we did, and they're not going to fill that entire panel room with the amount of people that we did. No one else was. Listen, I saw those panel rooms. There was like 10 people in there.
I was at the stairs when I took that photo.
We had like 200 people in that room. Yeah. So it's like, listen, that's fine. You want to make that decision, and you want to not have us there. Just remember how that's going to affect you this year. It's not going to affect me. It is not going to affect me. It's going to affect you.
And the biggest thing that pissed me off about that is you didn't even have your response or your answer, and they put that post up.
And that was the other thing that bothered me. It was like there was no conversation.
No.
Like, I reached out to the showrunner and I laid it out there for him.
Yeah.
And instead of having a conversation about it, they just made the post. It's like, Okay, if you want to make those sort of rational decisions.
Yeah. It's literally like, oh, I don't want to have this conversation. Oh, yeah. I'm just going to keep moving.
Well, you know what's funny? And he ended up getting a lot of backlash for that.
I know. Yeah.
So,
Yep.
someone had a bad day because they made a bad decision.
Yeah, and I've had, because I'm in the Finest Costume Club, and I've had people reach out like, hey, are you guys coming? Because originally I had been saying on my streams in groups and stuff, yeah, the ma'am and I are coming. The ma'am's coming in 2024. Like we're both gonna be there. It'll be freaking awesome. And then all that shit went down, and I was like, do you want to just go to Dallas? And she's like, yeah, let's just go there instead. So we're not playing. And then freaking Big Bacon likes to timestamp his stupid comments because I'm notorious for getting to them late, but I'm only 4 minutes late on that one. So suck it. Here we go. So Brian King says you need to do Megaforce.
No, I don't.
That's not the first time you've heard that.
I know.
I said it to you.
Yeah.
Flash Johnstone. Bobby, who would be your dream cast for Pandora?
Ooh, I have a couple. I can't say because we may be reaching out to several of them.
Fair.
There are a lot of good ones. But Pandora is going to be one of those ones where it has to be my call. Like, sure, the director, producer, they have their say, but Pandora is my say. Yeah.
Oh, all right. I like it. Jim Smith is asking, would an annual roster list in a comic project trademark?
No, because you can trademark through different categories. So like I have Action Force and Steel Brigade trademarked through apparel, comics, and toys. So if you wanted to do, Steel Brigade soda, you could do Steel Brigade soda. So it doesn't, just because you do something in a comic doesn't protect it as a toy.
And then Matt Rubin, I still don't understand how the Joe Fest organizer let that happen. He may be friends with the douche canoe, but be professional and don't let your friend harass another guest.
Hey, ask him what happened. And I'm sure you listen, he was getting a lot of questions and he was pitting it back on us. Like, why don't you go ask them? No. You made the decision. You made it. So don't try to hide. Don't try to stick your head in the sand. Don't listen. You made a decision and it backfired on you. And now you're getting a lot of shit for it. So just man up and hey, we jumped the gun. We said it without having a conversation with them. That's exactly what happened. But again, loyalty is a big thing for me. If you're not loyal, then that's fine. I'll listen.
Yeah.
You need me. I don't need you.
Yeah. And I'm a huge fan of the why of things. Like, why do you call them Mad Marauders instead of Slaughter's Marauders? Sure. Why are your weapons so friggin' gummy? Why did you make this announcement without even discussing it? Just give people the why. So many people don't want to talk about why anymore. It's like, don't run from that shit. Roll Keeper's asking you which show. Do you want to talk about that, or you want to let it go for now?
No, I'm letting them announce that. It'll come out soon.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a smaller show. They came to us. I loved what they had as far as ideas and what they want to build that show to. And I said, you know what? I want to help this show become huge. And it's like, listen, I was in a hallway in a small hotel room or a small hotel at the first Show Fest. So it was like, I was there from the beginning and I feel like I helped them build that show and made it what it is today. I mean, they might have to go back to a small hotel now, but now it's like, I want to do the same thing with this show. They were, again, they showed me the loyalty. They said, hey, we love what you do. We want to make this show around you. Great. Let's do it.
Yeah. I'm just a little butthurt. There's no PowerCon in 24, just because I didn't go this year because I was like, no, man, next year when I'm like retired and I'm all the way out and I can do whatever the shit I want. Like, because I remember I was talking to Ryan about it, and even Johnny and Newt from Simple Tricks and Nonsense were like, dude, you can stay in our room. And I was like, I got to get retired, right? Because I have to take all my leave during terminal leave. I'll be there next year. Fuck, screwed me over. Matt Rubin said, is it Rhea Ripley would be a kick-ass Pandora, just saying.
I don't know.
I don't know who she is. I have no input. There you go. Kenny ruined Joe Fest.
Hey, Go after him if you want to go after somebody. No, don't go after him. I'm not saying. I'm just.
Yeah, no.
I mean, listen. At the end of the day, he did. Like, his actions were the cause of it. You know, if
just as an attendee, that whole corner of the building has like a completely different vibe.
Yeah.
Where both of their shops where they're all over there playing grab ass and stuff, like going over there trying to shop, trying to purchase, dollies and whatever. It doesn't feel welcoming. It's not enjoyable. You stand there for freaking 10 minutes just so some guy can like talk like fucking rudely to you. And I'm like, you know what? Like, this whole corner sucks. It sucks. Yeah. And it's always the same over there. This year, when we got there and we we're doing the thing and I walk in, and, I saw you guys and all that stuff. And then I just walking around and I saw the toy department in that same fucking corner by the door. And I'm like, ugh, it just sucks.
Yeah.
But I'm not a fan.
Hey man, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I mean, listen, if someone just wanted to be a decent human being and not be like, I'm too cool for school and I think I'm so funny. Well, thinking you're funny is going to get you in trouble. But it's just like, but yeah, if your actions cause that. So now it's like when Joe Fest loses, attendees and shit like that, you can't blame me. Blame that shit on somebody else.
And that's what pissed me off, was like, it's the attendees that are going to suffer. So many people are like, I've never come to Joe Fest, but I was going to go next year because of this, that. And like, now I'm not going to go.
Yeah.
And I heard that from so many people. Lizard King is actually asking, is Texas for conventions a hard pass even for a guest role, Bobby?
It's hard because when I do the convention, it's like I drive and I got my trailer and stuff. So it's like
nice new truck.
Yeah, my nice Tundra, my big boy Tundra.
Yeah.
So it's like, it has to be within, driving distance. Like PowerCon was, 13 hours away. Joe Fest was just far enough. Like you could do it in a day.
Yeah.
But like Texas, like that's far, man. That's far. It's going to take multiple days to get there. Now granted, it's like, I've also looked at it like, well, next year I'm going to have so much more product. I'm going to have the Vanguards. So I think my days of hauling the trailer are probably over, and I might hire a shipping company to, take a tractor trailer, put my stuff on pallets and take it out there. So then I could just fly to the shows. So that's a possibility. I just haven't figured out the logistics yet.
And, and here's the thing, because I always try to be measured and not a hypocrite. Mm-hmm. Even though I would love for you guys to come to Dallas, I'm not going to poo-poo about it, because I'm going to Dallas instead of Joe Fest for the exact same reason. The whole reason I went all the way to Georgia from New Mexico was, the people and the camaraderie and the friends and the environment. But I'm going to Dallas this year because it's closer. So I'm not going to be like, well, you should still go to Dallas anyway, even though it's far away. Like, it would be hypocritical to complain about that. There's a question from Impossible Pie. And I'm sorry, dude. I had this starred, Impossible Pie, and I was going to get to it. But first, Roll Keeper says, Chad, you didn't want to go AWOL again? No, I didn't want to go AWOL again. I wasn't AWOL last year. It just, I left before they approved the leave. There's a difference. Impossible Pie. Bobby, do you know if any celebrities are collecting Action Force?
Yes. I don't want to put it out there, but they're definitely. What was that?
You don't want to dime them?
Yeah, I don't want to dime them, but there are. I mean, it's. I've received messages from people that are fans of the line and stuff like that, which is very cool. I don't process all the orders, so I don't see all the names and stuff like that. But I'm sure. Listen, I'm sure. Say like, I'm just putting. I'm not saying he orders, but say like Kiefer Sutherland ordered. I doubt Kiefer Sutherland would order. He probably have his assistant order. So it's like, these people, they never have like, they never order for themselves. It's always like their assistant, so they can cover their tracks and shit.
Hey, person, order me 5 of these figures.
Yeah,
totally. Jim Largo, thanks, buddy. Sends a $5 super chat. Says Garrison Cavalry needs some love. More Garrison troops in the future.
I know, more are coming.
There you go, Mr. Largo.
Hey, can you take over the show for a minute while I go take a piss?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool. I'll be right back, guys.
And then we're going to talk about that screenshot.
Okay.
Chad, don't skip my chat. You mean this one right here? You mean that one? I'm not skipping it. We just boned Ryan. That's all right. K-Dog. From seeing the video, Kenny comes off as the world's oldest 5-year-old that loves to play with his own nipples. It's terrible. Not very nice people. I hate to say it, but having had personal interactions, just not very nice people. Rachel Salinas, I see your question, and I just started right there. Anderson Silva collects some action figures. Yeah, there's a lot of famous people that collect action figures. Will Bobby make a deal with Underoos? Probably not, but I own some G.I. Joe Big Boy Underoos. The man bought them for me. We boned Ryan. Yeah, we did. We kind of boned Ryan. Yeah. Greg says poor Ryan done in by his own co-host. Hey, it was Bobby's choice, so we're having a good time. Great chat so far. I actually have something that I don't remember who sent it to me. I'm going to look at my phone on a stream. I'm sorry, but somebody sent me a screenshot of a newspaper report, and I'm going to talk about it here in a minute. And I really want all of you to give your opinions on this, because it's a little wacky. I can't find who sent it, because if I'm off Instagram for 5 minutes, I get 20 other things. Media Clash. When I win my next election, I'm gonna reap the action figure collection hard. Oh, rep it. I'm sorry. My screen's cut off between two monitors. I hope you win your next election.
Oh, sorry, man.
No, it's all good. Here you go. Rachel Salinas asked this question: is an executioner figure with multiple colored hoods out of the
question? That's funny.
That's racist. You can't do it.
I don't have that plan, so I'm 71 right now.
Cool.
It's an interesting thought, but
look, as a lover of dollies, the fact that you have always kind of done your thing, right? Your story, your characters, your lore, real weapons. You don't call them blasters, blast effects, this, that. Like when you get customers that come to your booth, like, you're selling them the last of something, like, oh, well, I don't have any more, but I'll sell you the display one. Customer service, right? Dude, if you did a freaking hooded figure, you want to talk about a punch in the face? I'm just saying, like, I think there's something to that.
It would be kind of funny.
I think that's pretty. Yeah. Drew G said, I'm watching both. He's double dipping. He's watching us and Ryan.
Oh, gotcha.
Everyone punches up, right? That's the thing. People, they love to punch up. Yeah. Suka. Bobby, how many photos of Action Force in space will it take for a Space Force figure? Because I will send them.
I don't think it's photos, man. I mean, send me a couple nice bottles of bourbon and
Ooh, and then maybe that conversation will happen.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I like this comment from Patrick Strauko. I hate clans. Cool people recognize cool people.
This is true.
Yeah. Again, right? That's the difference between people who, I have individual thought, and then other people who don't. And that being said, let's move on to this. So someone sent me this, and I didn't show this to you beforehand. I told you about it, but I said I wasn't going to show it to you until in the moment so I could watch you delaminate. The Daily Mail is reporting California retailers that refuse to have gender-neutral toys for children will be fined up to $500 under a new law by Governor Gavin Newsom. What do you think about that?
So why can't we have all of them? Like, why does it have to be like, if there's this, you're fine? Like, how about just the freedom to create whatever toys you want?
And what actually constitutes a gender neutral toy? So like,
Yeah, like
when someone sent this to me, and it was like 40 minutes before you and I were going to go live, I was like, Joe has male and female characters. I mean, Joe had females that were going through Ranger School in '82 before that was even a thing. And like, you've got a bunch of like strong female characters. What is a gender neutral toy?
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's not a like. Listen, I'm not trying to like be political here or anything like that. It's just like this all like confuses me. It's like what, like, you know, why can't you leave politics and views out of like toys? Like, why can't you just make toys? Like,
Right.
you know, toys can be for anyone or everyone. Like, why? Like, you know, okay, say you made a gender neutral toy. It's like, what if that gender neutral person didn't want to play with that toy and they wanted to play with, you know, something else? It's like, how can you say what someone does or doesn't want to play with? I mean, I just think it's, I don't know. This is just confusing.
It's totally weird. Like, yeah, that's like boys who played with She-Ra and He-Man. I don't understand what that means by gender neutral. But here you go. Yeah.
Now we're getting crazy. I mean, listen, off this topic for a second, could we just like focus on the fact that Gavin Newsom looks like an actual villain? Like, this guy,
I cut his head off. Yeah.
I mean, if you saw this dude, like if you didn't know he was a politician, right, and you just saw him, and you took 100 people and you said, tell me the first thought that comes to your mind when you look at this guy. I bet 99 of them would say villain. Like that guy's slimy. Like he just looks like a fucking villain. Like it looks like he should be Hans Gruber or some shit like that. Like he's just a slimy looking dickball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
Robert Diaz.
Also, he runs one of the worst fucking states in America. It's like there's a reason why I said California should drop into the fucking ocean.
It's
Guys,
the one state where like
get
the
out.
rest of the union is like, you can go ahead and secede. We'll be okay with that. Just
get out.
beat it.
Get
Robert
out.
Diaz is saying that they meant to say gender neutral toy aisles. And then says, I read about this law last year. The Daily Mail can't proofread. So that actually makes more sense.
Oh, okay.
So instead of like the boys action toy aisle, or like the girls toy aisle. Okay, so that makes more sense.
Well, I remember when I was there, you know, this is going back to the 2016, 2017 time. It was like, it was always called the boys group and it was always called the girls group.
Yeah.
And you had the Play-Doh group and the games group and the Nerf group. Mm-hmm. And then we called it boys action.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden there was this switch. I forget what year it was. It was around 16, 17. They were coming up with new names for what they were going to call it because they didn't want to call it boys action anymore. It's like, well, but we make boys toys. But okay, if, you know, so they just called it Action Brands. Okay, well, how do you, like, what makes an action brand? Like, that's what I don't understand. Like,
yeah,
what are you trying to say? You know, but the funny thing is that I don't think the girls group changed their name. It was just the boys action changed to Action Brands.
Right.
So
because boys are bad.
I guess, I don't know. Listen, people have agendas. I was just trying to make toys. I'm still just trying to make toys. I never make, whenever I do my stuff, it's never a political agenda. I never mix in with that shit. People always want to assume things.
Yeah.
You know, and I love like when stupid people try to assume things, like, you know, that dickhead dummy that runs that stupid YouTube channel that gets no views. His stupid wife tried to like accuse me of things. It's like, you couldn't be further from what you're talking about. Like, I'm so middle of the road. Like, it's not even funny. Like, if you knew my views, you'd be like, oh wow, that's pretty middle of the road.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, I own guns, so I must be a Republican. I must be right, you know, conservative. It's like, well, that's a stupid way of thinking.
Yeah.
You know? And she's a dummy for thinking that way. Yes, I said your wife is stupid because you're stupid and your wife is stupid, which makes sense why the two of you are together. But listen, when you lie about people and you make false accusations, it's not right. And the fact that you don't apologize for it, that's not right. You know? So don't assume because you look like an asshole.
You know, taking people's videos and not linking them in the
man. He has a track record of that.
That's the thing. Media Clash says you could make a Klinger figure from that. But you see, and this is kind of why I wanted to talk about it, but B, the fact that we did talk about it, now there's like a better understanding of the whole situation. So I think that's good. So Masterson said that Newsom thing is a little misleading. He is saying you need to intermix the toys together. See? Just like what Robert said. So that actually makes way more sense. And now I'm going to get rid of that shit. So
okay. Yeah, I guess. I mean, again, I'm not trying to deep dive into some shit that some villain is trying to do or not do, but
yeah.
Hey, California, good luck to you, man.
Yeah, it's like what Goofuniki? I don't. My state has a homeless problem, but gendered toys are higher on the list of
You know, it was funny. It was a homeless problem until I think who was the guy from China that came to visit, and all of a sudden, no more homeless people in San Francisco.
Yep.
What'd you do with them? Did you hide them at Super 7? What'd you do with them?
Yeah, because they like anytime they need to look good, they'll break up all the bum camps.
Yeah, it's like, wait a second. You didn't want to do anything about the problem when it's a problem, but then all of a sudden you have a guest coming and it's like, oh, and then I think he even came out and said, when you have guests come over for dinner, don't you clean your house? Like he said that. He said that shit. And it's like, wow, that dude's a villain. You know, it's like, how about you just help the homeless people? Like, how about you just find ways to help them instead of letting them just pitch tents in front of stores where people pay rent and taxes and shit like that. Like, sounds like a good idea, you know?
Yeah, and it's like that here in Albuquerque too. Like more and more often you'll go to a business or a restaurant or something. And then when you go there during the day, you see the burn marks on the side of the wall where they set up their hobo camps and they have fires, but then they get kind of shooed away, and you see that a lot. And it's just kind of one of those things. Big Bacon says person at arms. Thank you very much. Yeah, whatever. Cool. Are there any more questions for Mr. Vala? Yeah, we talked about Newsom, talked about Joe Fest, Vanguard, Walmart. What else is okay. Oh, no. Real life like hair? No?
Stop. No, I listen. Who's asking for that? Just you.
Nobody.
I mean, I don't know. Listen, I did a flocked figure when I was at Hasbro. I did Moon Boy. He was flocked figure. Flocking is very expensive. It's also kind of hit or miss. I'd like to see the new Mattel Origins Moss Man, to see how well they did that flocking. And it's definitely an expensive process, which is why people are complaining like that figure was more expensive. And it's like, yeah, you know how much that costs? Like, It's not like just because a figure is like it is one size, like it doesn't, like what you do to that figure and what that figure like comes with, like it has repercussions. Like vac metal's really expensive.
Yep.
So yeah, don't bitch about Moss Man being expensive. That's a really expensive process.
Yeah. A lot went into that. You can make a Gavin Newsom bad guy.
100%. 100%.
And then Drew G keeps talking smack. I think Chad is messing with me now, or he doesn't like Raina. Raina who? What? Put it in the chat, man. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. And then flock chest hair. Got to make that happen. No. Drew G posed it as a question. Here you go. This for you from Drew.
Raina Vallandigham as Eclipse? Is she an actress? I'll have to look her up. I mean,
I don't know. And then Greg says Drew posted it like 8 times. I'm sorry, dude. I'm trying. This is a lot of people.
Oh yeah, she's an actress.
That's a real name.
Ooh, oh, I follow her on Instagram. That's right. She would make an absolute perfect Eclipse. I did send her to our producer and I said, look at her. She's not an actress. Like she's like a Taekwondo expert and stuff like that. She's not like a real trained actress, but her look alone, she is phenomenal. So Drew, absolutely. Absolutely.
There's your freaking answer, Drew.
There you go.
Jerk.
Hey, don't call Drew a jerk. We talk comics. I like talking to Drew. And he gave me Prince of Thieves toys. Drew's a good guy.
Drew's a good guy, but he's a jerk.
Stop it.
I love how you just stop. Like that's your thing. Stop. Philippe, this is a pretty good question. Would you give Call of Duty rights to use Action Force characters as a DLC pack?
100%. Listen, I say it all the time.
Actually, a good question.
And I'm fully transparent on what I'm trying to do. Like, I've been trying to reach out to multiple video game companies about, like, listen, I don't want an Action Force game. I want just bring my guys in. You guys have a great platform. Like, that's what I never understood about like Hasbro. Like, they would try to do a video game, and every Hasbro video game failed. It's because they didn't like to spend 3 years developing a game. Mm-hmm. They wanted a game done in 8 months. And it's like, well, if you do a game in 8 months, it's going to suck.
You get Operation Blackout.
So all their games suck. Yeah. So it's like, if they were smart, just listen, how did you not have like a Call of Duty G.I. Joe? Like, with all the skins in there, like that's a total miss.
Years ago.
Total miss.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I know they brought Snake Eyes into Fortnite, but that's low hanging fruit, man. You know?
And Fortnite kids are like, oh, it's this guy in black with a sword. They see Snake Eyes like they see the freaking banana peel guy. It's just, it's not that it's Snake Eyes. It's like, it's a fun little, digital dolly.
Yep. Yeah. So it's like, listen, I would love to meet someone that works for, I'm trying to remember who does Call of Duty. Is it Square Enix or
Activision?
It's Activision. That's right. I know, like, I was looking for people on LinkedIn, like trying to like stalk people and trying to find like who works in their licensing department and this and that. And it's just like, it's like, I feel like it's almost like when I was pitching to comic book companies, it's so hard nowadays. Yeah. Like trying to get to the right people is so hard. And if you could go to a website and someone has a licensing department and here's the email, and it's like you email them, but who's looking at these emails? So it's like, it's so hard to do it. Like people, were harping me about Invincible, the comic book and the animated show, because so many people were talking about it, I started researching it. And you know what? I reached out to them and it's like, I haven't heard back yet, but it's just like, it's so hard. It's hard to just get to anyone. So it's like, licenses are great, but you got to have the right contacts and you got to like really like find the person who's like the gatekeeper, and it's hard.
Yeah. And they have like Spawn and all sorts of freaking character skins in Call of Duty now. It's ridiculous. And Media Clash just said Microsoft just bought them.
Oh, wow.
So there you go. What's funny?
What?
Did you watch it?
Kinda. A little bit.
I gotta say, season 2, I know that Ryan was like, on your guys' show the other day, he was talking about season 1 and season 2. I think season 2 is shit. Season 1's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Season 2 is crap, dude. Crap. But personal opinion, right?
Sure.
Masterson 42 sends a $2 super chat and says Laser Pants is giving you guys the stink eye.
You know what? I have a fun idea. Let's go to his stream and let's blow up his chat.
Okay, we will. We'll let me get to these last couple of questions here real quick. Comrade Bobcat 39. Bobby, do you ever think you'll make historical figures?
I would love to do historical figures. I mean, the thing is though, like, you got to watch. And I said it on our podcast the other day about historical figures. Like World War II, everyone gets behind World War II. But after that, people don't really care. Yeah. World War I, no one gives a shit about. Cowboys is very niche. Pirates is, I love pirates.
Yeah.
Pirates, super niche. Civil War stuff, super niche. So it's like, it's hard to like do historical stuff like that. You have to like already have an established genre where you do that kind of stuff. And then like that company that does like all the gladiators and stuff, you could probably worm like an Achilles or someone like that into that line because it's already in the same vein.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, like a Vitruvian Hacks or something like that.
No.
Chuck them in there.
No. No.
Skidmark's like, what? What did I say? Because I said hacks. You ever sit around? So I'm just going to expand on this question. Do you ever sit around like in your private moments, like, I wonder how I would weave in like Action Force into World War II? Would it be like, you know, somebody's grandfather or great grandfather or something like that? And you ever sit around and think that?
Yeah. So, you know, the idea of like doing World War II, it's like, you know, I want to do it, but how would you do it? It's like, okay, well, what if, you know, it got uncovered that Action Force was a group that had been around for years and then it kind of went away,
right?
You know, and it was around in World War II, I think would be really, really cool, you know, especially because like, you know, US, UK, like they were, you know, they were fighting alongside each other. What if there was an Action Force then, you know?
Yeah. And then you get like Churchill in there and stuff like that. Like you could weave some ridiculous stories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like Condor and Churchill. And that's just really cool. And then the last question I'm going to ask you, which great comic artist would you love to have working on Action Force?
Oh, wow, it's a tough one. There's artists that I love, you know, but I don't think that they'd be great with like detailed military. But you know who would be great on an Action Force comic is Brian Hitch.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, could you imagine that? Like Ultimate style, like Action Force. Oh, man, he'd be awesome. He'd be so good.
I lied. Curb Stomp.
I didn't.
What wave is Praetorian coming on?
Series 5.
There you go. Series 5
coming out this summer.
And then Lilith says you could do Nam or Desert Storm. I mean, Joe did Desert Storm.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna call it here, people. We're calling it. Silly Pole Plays. How about Action Force Street Fighter crossover, but just do Shadow Law? Whatever. Anywho, we're gonna get out of here, everybody. We're gonna go over to 3POA.
Yeah, make sure everyone goes and watch 3POA so that Ryan doesn't get upset.
Yeah, Ryan's got Rocco the Gray, and we're gonna go over to Bobby's Stomping Grounds. Bobby, thank you so much for hanging out with me.
Of course, man. Thank you for having me.
Thank you always so much for agreeing to hang out with me. I know you're busy, and I know that sometimes my time frame isn't the best, but thank you.
I'll always make time for you.
Thank you so much.
My wife isn't happy about it because she had to put the kids to bed and stuff, but you know, it's all right.
Tell your wife I said thank you very much. And I'm going to let you sign us out, good sir.
All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We had a blast. Hope you enjoyed all the info that you got in the show. I'll be back soon. We're out.
Let me hide this, because if I don't hide it, it's going to stay there for the outro. Have an awesome day. Wrong outro.